broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, what do you say? Good morning. Great to see you this morning. This is The Bill Press Show. We're coming to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., bringing you up to date on all the news of the day, whether it's happening here in our nation's capital, around the country, around the globe. Coming to you live on your local progressive talk radio station, on Free Speech TV, and worldwide on our video stream, TawkrTV. Events in the nation's capital. Hi, everybody. It's Bill Press. This year marks the 10th anniversary of doing the Bill Press Show, every day covering the news of the day with the nation's top newsmakers, either on the line or in our studio right here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Not only that, I go to the White House briefings every day to get answers to the top questions of the day. Bottom line, if it's happening in Washington, D.C., either at the White House or the Capitol, we are all over it. Every day, we welcome to our studio political leaders and reporters and labor leaders and newsmakers to help us understand the issues of the day. You know, we started out as a radio show only, but over the years, we have branched out to all forms of the new media. So today, we're not just a radio show. We are podcasting, streaming audio, streaming video, and we are simulcast live on Free Speech TV nationwide. Reaching out to 40 million households on Free Speech TV, in addition to hundreds of thousands on local radio stations and online.
AFGE is so proud to be associated with this show and looks forward to being working with Bill and this show for a long time.
Bill Press is the right man at the right time with the right message.
And thanks to the Bill Press Show, we get our message out to thousands and thousands of people every day. Thank you, Bill Press.
The Teamsters are a proud partner with Bill Press on his show, telling the truth about what's going on with working families. Tune in.
Yes, it's been a fun and exciting 10 years so far for the Bill Press Show. We're looking forward to many more with all of you, broadcasting live every morning from the nation's capital.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
A few years ago, plastic bag waste in our city came to a tipping point. It was clear we had a bag problem. My department was tasked to reduce plastic bag consumption. We needed to come up with ways to change human behavior. So we asked ourselves,
should I get back?
What do people really hate?
Yep.
Getting punched in the stomach. Preliminary studies showed that the consequences weren't severe enough to warrant behavioral change.
Actually, can I get that double bagged?
So we thought, what do people hate more than getting punched in the stomach? Kissing Helga.
Hey, big boy.
People didn't find her so offensive after all, so we had to get creative.
How many bags? Okay, now, pour this ice water down your pants.
We tried everything.
Eat the threat. Defuse this bomb.
Even fighting your clone. After blowing through millions of dollars of government funds on research, I came up with a brilliant idea.
Why don't we just charge 5 cents per bag?
That's a stupid idea.
Would you like a bag?
Yes.
5 cents a bag.
5 cents? 5 cents? Do I still have the option of getting punched?
Honestly, I don't know how everyone else missed it.
Why don't you just get a reusable bag?
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
Here we go on Free Speech TV. You know where we're going to start? I think we're going to start one of those countdown clocks like they have on CNN before the debate. You know, so many hours and the diminishing hours and minutes and seconds until the whole thing starts. Well, our countdown clock, there are just hours left before the end of this pledge drive here in December. Hours left before your chance to get that big tax deduction by giving a contribution as generously as you can to Free Speech TV. So don't put it off any longer. Time is running out. Do it now. Make your pledge now. And I don't mean later today. I mean right now during this Bill Press show. So we get the credit for whatever contribution, whatever pledge you're able to make to Free Speech TV. And you know how it works. Look, there's a lot of work putting the show together. I hope you appreciate that. I know you do. I mean, we start right after the show. We have a little meeting where we take a look back at today's show and then already start planning on the show, what we want to do, kind of guests we want for the next day, what issues we think we'll be talking about the next day. All day long, Peter and Jamie are working on booking guests for the next day and planning out the show. Again, the issues that we may want to touch on, see what's happening in the news. I go down to the White House at the briefings to gather whatever information I can from the White House briefings to get that inside look at what's happening at the White House. And then we have a conference call at 5 o'clock every afternoon to go over the show, what we've got together so far. And then the next morning we get here an hour before airtime. That is 5 o'clock Eastern, if you please, and do the final job of putting the show together. And then we're on the air for 3 hours with you every single day. A lot of work, but we love it because we love being part of the nation's only progressive 24/7 television channel. And if you appreciate it, and we know you do, again, show your appreciation as generously as you can by making your pledge to keep Free Speech TV on the air. And coming back to you, in return for your pledge, you can help us with just $30. We'll send you a Bill Press Eco Journal and a pen set to go along with it. If you can help us with a pledge of just $5 a month for all that great TV that you get, we'll send you a great Free Speech TV calendar with pictures of all your favorite Free Speech TV hosts. $10 a month, a pledge of $120 for Bill Press Show pint glasses. A lot of fun to have around when your friends stop by. $20 a month for a $240 pledge. A great little package put together by the Women's Bean Project. A copy of that calendar we told you about, 2 of those pint glasses, and a little can of soup and some cornbread for $360 or $30 a month. What a great treat to get a hand-woven, one-of-a-kind Carol Press scarf, rayon chenille scarf for this winter. And for $1,000, if you can do that, get your way to Washington. You and a friend come by the studio here and watch the show. And the night before, Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on Capitol Hill. There you go. Now's the time. Come up, step up to the bar here, belly up to the bar. Make your pledge right now during the Bill Press Show. Put us over the top. Go to 877-378-8669 or freespeech.org. Make your pledge as generously as you can. Come on, do it. Don't put it off any longer. Okay, thank you.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Columbine,
Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
Newtown,
Newtown.
Newtown.
How many more?
How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough.
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 Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend. As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 Good news. There's not another Republican debate for the rest of the year. Yippee! What do you say? Thank God for that is right. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, December 16. Here we are. The morning after the Vegas showdown. That's what they're calling it. It is the Bill Press Show. Hello, hello, hello. How about it? Good to see you out there on the radio. Good to see you out there on television. From our perch here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Good to be with you on this Wednesday morning, again, on your local progressive talk radio station and on Free Speech TV with the news of the day, most of it centered, of course, around the debate last night, or the debates last night, the junior debate, with 4 candidates on stage, followed by the main event with 9. Much too many. 9 candidates on stage. There's no way you can have a good debate with 9 candidates on stage and really get into the issues or have any substantive discussion of the issues. But they tried, at any rate. And we'll talk about it this morning with a lot of good guests and our entire team here, as always, Peter Ogbert and Jamie Benson.
Hello, Bill.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? How many watched the entire debate? That's what I want to know.
The entire debate?
I did. Yes. Well, actually, I went to sleep right as the closing statements were beginning because I realized there wasn't going to be any substantive things at the end.
Go on too long.
I know. No, I know. Too much. They dragged them out to milk every. I hope the ratings sucked last night, but they wanted to draw every single, dollar, commercial dollar. It's
obnoxious.
Totally obnoxious. Ray Rogers, rounding out the team here, is here to take your calls at 866-55-PRESS. We want to hear from you. 866-55-PRESS is the toll-free number. Send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, on Facebook at facebook.com/The Bill Press Show. And a big thank you to Cyprian Bolding, our videographer, for making us look good this morning. I have to tell you, I had the perfect excuse, I want you to know, for not watching the debate. And that is, I was invited last evening. Carol went with me to the annual White House reporters Christmas party at the White House.
Very nice.
Very nice. Saw a lot of our good friends here, a lot of our regular guests here down at the party. Justin Sink, who'll be along a little bit later today, and Josh Lederman from Reuters. AP. Yes, sorry. Here, I can go down the list. Evan McMorris Santoro, of course, one of our friends and frequent guest of Bill. Yeah, and I have to tell you, the way it works, right? They are so organized, and when you get in, you get a red ticket, a white ticket, or a blue ticket.
Okay.
And those are the groups for getting your photo taken with the president.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah. And so if you're, they call the groups, and then you just line up. But it is so well organized. Meanwhile, the food and the drink is, you cannot believe how good it is.
Yeah?
They really turn it on.
Nice.
Yeah, right. The great attraction is the eggnog. the eggnog.
I gotta tell you,
which they tell you when you pick up a little cup of eggnog, it has a kick in it. And I said, well, I hope so.
Yeah, right. What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very picky about eggnog, man.
I don't want to tell any secrets, but I was standing with Helene Cooper from the New York Times. She had 4 cups of eggnog in a row. She had one. She said, "Oh,
Just
that is so
it.
good. I want another one."
Oh dear.
Oh yeah, people are. I
It's a
was
rough
directing
night.
people to the eggnog. But it's great food with lamb chops and shrimp and go on and on. It was wonderful. And then and you have the full access to the rooms. I mean, there's nothing like just being able to sit in the red room of the White House and chat with your friends, or and the decorations this year were more beautiful than I have ever seen them at the White House.
Nice.
Every year it's always beautiful and always festive. There's a lot of new stuff this year. We'll tweet some photos out a little bit later because my phone battery was down. So Carol took them, and I'll have to get them from her this morning. We'll get them out. And then, at a particular time, it comes and it's your turn. So we had a blue ticket, and these Marines, they line you up a little few at a time. You go downstairs, and you wind your way through the map room. They take you into the to the next room. It's I forget what they call that room. They're coming in from the south lawn of the White House. And the president, the first lady are there, and the leader of the free world, they stand there for over 2 hours having their photograph taken with every Joe Schmo that comes through the line, man. And they have a very well organized. They take you up, and the Marine introduces you to the president. He knows most of us, but just in case. And you say, quick hello to the president, quick hello to the first lady. Snap, have your picture taken. You are out of there before you almost know you've arrived.
I worry about this every year, by the way, because no offense to you for going there and getting your picture taken, but how horrible that's got to be for the president.
Totally. But it goes with
But because that wasn't the only White House Christmas party, right?
No.
He does this multiple nights, right?
Yes, but he doesn't do this for every party.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Does not do it for every party.
Good to know.
And I just have to tell you, you have that little moment, you think what you're going to say to the president, and I said, Mr. President, good job in Paris.
There you go.
And he said, thank you. And I said, and it would not have happened without you.
It's true.
And he said, you're right about that.
Did he really?
Yeah. He said, you're right about that. Right.
Good.
And then, he gets fixed, and then go upstairs and have one last cup of eggnog and maybe like a little dessert, right?
Yeah.
But I don't forget my friends. Hold on here 1 second here.
Boy.
Whoa.
Let's see. If you took eggnog from the White House, I don't think it kept, by the way.
No, here we are. But we have some Christmas cookies.
Last time you went to your bag, you brought in a bag of weed. So
a little Christmas cookies.
Nice.
Right.
Look at the detail on those.
Those are beautiful. Beautiful Christmas cookies.
I got a few. These are
snowman, a Christmas tree,
Christmas cookies
a
from the
teddy
White
bear.
House. They said a limit of 3 per person. I broke the rule. Now I have to say, not all of them managed to get out unbroken.
Oh, the candy cane snapped.
So here's the deal. Actually, I got my time reversed. I actually took the cookies before I had the picture taken. I had these in my pocket. Michelle Obama broke this candy cane.
Oh, man.
You should put it on earbay. It could be. It's
she
a story.
gave me too big of a hug on this side.
Oh,
that's
man.
Right. Yeah, I know. That's right.
Michelle Obama broke this candy cane.
Anyhow, there are cookies here for all of you guys. Here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Right.
Yeah.
Peter, you get the broken one.
Thank you. But it was broken by Michelle Obama.
There you go. All right.
I'm okay with it. Oh, no.
Cookie.
I don't think I've ever seen
a cookie monster
that fast.
No. Cookie thief.
Yeah, right?
All right. Yes, indeed. And I then got home to watch a little. Then the rest of the debate was still on when I got home, so I saw a little bit. And David Jackson is in Las Vegas. He is up early this morning. Will join us a little bit later in this hour. We'll talk about the debate with you, too. What did you think? Reporters in also from The Hill, from the National Journal, and from Bloomberg News. But first...
This is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. Okay, so yesterday we saw the story about the schools in Los Angeles closing for what turned out to be a hoax email. But, very interesting little tidbit. Yesterday, NBC affiliates and stations got a blast from the past as Brian Williams anchored the coverage of that school closing. Brian Williams has not been on NBC stations. He's been on MSNBC, of course, but they put him out because he was in the building when the L.A. stuff broke. So they put him right out. So anybody taking the special report from NBC News actually got Brian Williams. This is the first time that we've seen him do any kind of work on NBC since February when he was removed as the host of NBC Nightly News.
Lester Holt, you better be looking over your shoulder, baby.
Iron pants.
You hear the footsteps.
Yeah, right? There is a house, Bill.
There is a house.
A beautiful house just outside of Paris. It's called the Chateau Louis. It went up on the market. It was sold this past week for €275 million. Also, $301 million, if you want to put it in those terms. That would be the world's priciest home. It's a big house, 56 acres. It's between Versailles and Marly-le-Roi. If you know where that is. I don't know where that is exactly. It took 3 years to build. House includes an aquarium, a cinema, a wine cellar, and there is a fountain outside that is covered in gold leaf. Right?
That's it?
Those are the big selling points.
A little underwhelmed.
I got to tell you, I mean, you got to have something a little bit bigger.
That's not good enough for you, then Versailles is for sale, right?
Just down the road.
That's down the road.
Just down the road. And Merriam-Webster has put out its Word of the Year, 2015's Word of the Year. Do you know what it is?
I have no idea.
It's actually sort of a cop-out.
I don't need new words.
It's kind of a cop-out.
You're going to love this, Bill.
Yo, I promise you, Bill will hate this. The word of the year is ism. The suffix ism.
It's been around for a long time.
Well, they say that the ism part actually, was used more in 2015, so this sums up 2015 the best when you look at words like racism, terrorism, fascism, and capitalism. The look at Bill.
Don't forget socialism.
Socialism from Biney.
Yeah.
But that's a ism. Ism is the word of the year. It's not a new word. It's not the new word of the year, but it is the word of the year.
I got it. Okay. Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah.
I think the word of the year is Trumpian.
Trumpian.
It's a word I like.
Trumpism.
This year, right? All right. So let's talk about from what you saw. I hope you didn't watch the whole thing. Maybe you did. If you're really glutton for punishment. What did you think of the debate? 866-55-PRESS. Let's talk about it. There were some highlights of the debate. I tell you one thing. I want to come right to me, the big takeaway from the debate is the field is smaller than it looks, right? I think you can, I would eliminate, right, the JV debate. They're not even worth talking about, okay? Those guys are gone. Even on the big stage of the 9, right? I think it's over for Kasich. And I like John Kasich.
Sure.
It's over for Kasich. I think it's over for Carly. I think it's over for Carson. I think it's over for Rand Paul. And I like Rand Paul. I like a lot of things he says. I really think you've got 5, right? You got Trump, you got Cruz, you got Rubio, you got Christie, and you got Jeb. And I think that's what, to me, that was my takeaway from the whole thing. I think the others are going to, if they haven't already disappeared, are soon going to disappear. Jeb did well enough, I think, to stay in the race at any rate. He certainly, I wouldn't say was the winner, but he is the one who would most strongly would take on Donald Trump. I love this phrase of the chaos candidate.
Donald, is great at the one-liners, but he's a chaos candidate, and he'd be a chaos president.
Chaos president. Chaos candidate. I don't know. Anyhow.
It's a good, the problem with that is it's a really, really good line, but the problem is you're not going to win any points by bashing Donald Trump. Republicans love Donald Trump.
But Republicans, if you will, a lot of the, we use the phrase establishment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking for somebody other than Trump, and that's what Jeb is playing for. He said, don't go to Cruz or don't go to Rubio, come to me. Trump, of course, said Jeb is just, his whole campaign's falling apart, run a terrible job. And then Jeb comes back again and says, come on, Donald, insults don't get you there.
Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not going to happen. And I do have the strength.
Chris Christie, I thought, had a good night. Chris Christie showed, I think, that he is capable of being one of the big players on the big stage. And he also, he wanted to show that he's as tough as all the rest of them and that he's not from Washington. And they were sort of his themes last night. He'd even go so far as shoot down Russian planes? Hell yeah.
Yes, we would shoot down the planes of Russian pilots if, in fact, they were stupid enough to think that this president was the same feckless weakling that the president we have in the Oval Office is right now.
Yeah, calling President Obama a feckless weakling, a little over the line, I think. The big event of the night, probably, the most testy exchange, of course, was between Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, especially over the issue of not just, but especially on the issue of immigration. And here, you got to understand what's going on, right? Both of these guys are U.S. senators. Both are 44, right? Both Latino. Both of them looking for the evangelical vote. And both of them standing there to be the heir apparent when and if Donald Trump finally disappears. And you get the feeling they don't really like each other. And you also hear in this exchange, while they're going back and forth on immigration, the person happened to be a woman whom I thought had the worst night of all. God, she is so unattractive. She is so ugly. She is so, oh God, Carly Fiorina screaming, shrieking her way through the night. Here are Cruz and Rubio.
Didn't Senator trust Cruz, the federal government.
No, Dana,
he campaigned in Florida promising to lead the fight against amnesty.
Support legalizing
he campaigned promising to lead the fight against amnesty.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why Senator Cruz, can you answer that question, please?
You know what? That debate resembled a Donald Trump rally, right? There were
totally
brawls.
Out of control.
They were totally out of control, and there were brawls breaking out everywhere you looked, right? And then John Kasich would shout out, and then somebody else would shout out, and then the audience would boo, and they were trying to get a question in. But I got to tell you, you may disagree. Between Rubio and Cruz, Rubio is smoother. Cruz is smarter, and I thought Cruz won that exchange. There are several exchanges. And on immigration, for one thing, Cruz never let Marco Rubio forget that you were one of the architects of the immigration reform legislation, which he kept calling the Rubio-Schumer plan. All right, we're just getting started here on last night's debate. Love your take on it. Any of these candidates do well, and which one would you maybe like to run against the least? 866-55-PRESS.
Follow us on Twitter @BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Okay, last call. No last call for alcohol. Last call for you to make your pledge to Free Speech TV. We're winding down this pledge drive, just a few more days to go, and getting right near that goal. We still have about $100,000 to raise. That's another $1,500 a day for this show. And last call also, and last chance for you to get that great big fat tax deduction you need at the end of the year by giving to your favorite charity, namely Free Speech TV. And if those of you who have already made your pledge over the last couple of weeks, we thank you. Thank you for being part of the team, part of our friendship and partnership here on Free Speech TV. And if you haven't yet made your pledge, why the hell not? What are you waiting for? All right, you're waiting for the last minute? This is it. We're at the last minute. Don't be a freeloader. You know, if you're enjoying Free Speech TV, get off your butt and do your part, do your share as generously as you can to keep Free Speech TV on the air. And, if we don't make that amount that we need to make this time, one of two things could happen. Either Free Speech TV could start running paid commercials and get corporate money and be just like the rest of TV. You don't want that to happen. Or we could just go dark and end of Free Speech TV. You don't want that to happen either. So the way to prevent that is, again, do your share. Sign up today, right during this show. Make your pledge. Go to the phone, 877-378-8669, or go online to freespeech.org and make your pledge as generously as you can. Do it right now during this show. If you help us, again, with $30, a pledge of $30 will get you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $5 a month, a pledge for $5 a month, $60, a Free Speech TV calendar like this one with pictures of all your favorite Free Speech TV talk show hosts. $120 pledge, $10 a month. 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses, $240, $20 a month. A whole little package. The calendar, 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, contribution to the Women's Bean Project, a can of soup, and a bundle of cornbread. $360. That's a $30 a month pledge. How about a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf just for you for this holiday season? And special gift, help us with $1,000. You come to Washington, we'll have a great time. Take you out to dinner. Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill. And the next morning, we'll get some district donuts, invite you in to see the show, meet the whole team, and it'll be your moment in Hollywood on the Potomac. That's it. Again, go online to freespeech.org or go on the phone, 877-378-8669. We really, really need your help. Don't be a freeloader. Get on board. Be part of the Free Speech TV team during the Bill Press Show, and do it now, and we thank you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To
not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, here we go now at 27 minutes after the hour. We're going to take your calls on the other side of the break here at 866-55-PRESS about last night's debate. Just a couple of points here before the half hour is, it's funny about Donald Trump. Donald Trump last night, he does really well before the debates and after the debates. Debate is really not his format, right? But I think with Donald Trump, he didn't hurt himself. He walked into the debate last night, the front runner, and he walked out the front runner. And he also said last night, he pledged, we'll see how long it lasts, that he would not leave the party, that he was comfortable being a Republican and wanted to be the Republican nominee. And Lindsey Graham backed down a little bit, too, last night. Lindsey Graham said that, of course, even after saying that Trump was the worst disaster hit the Republican Party since I don't know when, Lindsey Graham still said, I will support the nominee of the Republican Party. After all, damn it, I'm a Republican, which is not what he said last week. Okay, you saw it, you watched, what did you think? 866-55-PRESS, your calls coming up.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Neighbors, a little word about Free Speech TV. You know, it's that time of year, our December pledge drive, very, very important before the end of the year. Your last chance to get a tax deduction for making a charitable contribution to our nonprofit Free Speech TV, and hope you take advantage of that. Come on, how much do you love us? Show me today. Let's make that $1,500 goal that we've got today. At least 15 of you with a pledge of $100 will put us over the top. And you know, I got to tell you, we've been doing this now for a couple of years now. It's the same with every pledge drive. I always start out really nice, you know, we love you, you love us, show us how much you love us, give us a contribution, help keep Free Speech TV on the air. And you know what? It never works. Same thing, we're off to a slow start again. It seems like the only way that we can get you guys to respond is we get a little testy here. I mean, come on, people, damn it. Show us how much you love us. Look, remember, Free Speech TV is built on this whole principle. It's something never seen before in the American media, okay? I mean, people who founded Free Speech TV figured, okay, if it's really true that you don't like the corporate media, and none of us do, all right, then we'll do something different, right? We won't take any government money, won't take any corporate money, won't take any Koch brothers money. And if you really like that, you will respond by digging in and keeping free speech on the air. So this is something, again, totally new, totally independent, and that's why we can be as progressive as we are 24/7, all of us on Free Speech TV. So you either like that plan, you like that principle, you like that approach, or you don't. And if you do, again, please show it by digging in and making a big a pledge as you can to keep free speech going, keep it on the air. It is so important. We depend entirely on you, and we'll help you with a little prompt maybe to make that pledge today. If you can help us with just $30 a year, we'll give you send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. For $60 a year, this is $5 a month. A Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all your favorite hosts on it. $120 pledge, $10 a month. A Bill Press Show, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, something very special, a little bundle put together by the Women's Bean Project, including a contribution to the Bean Project, can of soup and a little bundle of cornbread, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $360, a great, great gift for yourself or someone you love, a hand-woven scarf by my wife, Carol Press. And again, for $1,000, the big prize, you get yourself to Washington, you and a guest, Carol and I will take you out to dinner at our treat, and we'll bring you into studio to meet the whole team the next morning. Please help as much as you can. We really, really need it. And do it today. Take advantage of this end-of-the-year opportunity to get your taxes down a little bit by helping Free Speech TV. You know how to do it? Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org. Make your pledge today as generously as you can, and thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Help keep all the presidential candidates straight with your progressive headquarters for the 2016 election. This is The Bill Press Show.
You got it. 33 minutes after the hour. Here we go. The Bill Press Show on a Wednesday morning after the showdown in Las Vegas. We're coming to you live from Washington, D.C., our studio on Capitol Hill, where we're brought to you today by the American Federation of Government Employees. Great gang of men and women under President J. David Cox who keep our federal agencies running day in and day out. Proud to work for America every day. Their website is afge.org. Encourage you to check it out. We salute them for their good work and thank them for their sponsorship of the program. On the debate last night, again, as I mentioned just before the break, Hugh Hewitt asked the $64,000 question. Donald, are you going to run as a third-party candidate?
You ready to reassure Republicans tonight that you will run as a Republican and abide by the decision of the Republicans?
I really am. I'll be honest. I really am. I mean, people have been putting me to question. I really am.
This is the guy. Yeah. You know, he repeats himself all the time. He's got that. It's just a almost knee-jerk reaction, but he did it again. He does almost everything he says.
Yeah, he did it again last week. He goes, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to build a wall. Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful wall." Mm-hmm. It's just like,
but
lines, dude.
But right. But I don't mean he makes the same points. But when he makes a point, he'll get up one line and he'll just repeat.
Repeat this. Yeah. I really will.
I'd like you. I really will. Right. I really will. Okay, we heard you the first time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham, he doesn't think a lot about Donald Trump, particularly Donald Trump's pledge to keep all Muslims out.
Please understand we're in a war that we can't afford to lose. And what he said about banning Muslims coming here to America has made us all less safe, and it's the worst possible thing he could do in this war. He clearly doesn't understand this war and how to win it.
Yes, but so you would never, ever support this guy for president, would you?
I'm going to support the Republican nominee, whoever he or she may be. Like Bob Dole, I may sleep late that day if it's Trump. But the bottom line, if it's Trump, so be it.
No.
That's who I'll support.
No, come on, Lindsey. It's a
bad answer.
Yeah, bad answer. I mean, you stand for something or you don't.
Yeah.
And after I loaded him down with praise last week for being the one Republican who would say, I will not accept him as a nominee of the party. I did so last night in an interview just before the debate. And then he goes on and says, well, I'll support him, even though he's a danger to the United States of America. Yeah, but so be it. I'll still support him.
Right. The idea that you could go out there and say the things that Lindsey Graham has said about Donald Trump and then still vote for him is pathetic.
All right, so you saw the Gang of 13 last night. What'd you think? Ike down in Charleston. Hello, Ike. How you doing?
Hey, morning. Mr. Ogburn, belated happy birthday.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, and who would have guessed that, Mr. Press there would, rip off some cookies from the White House. I mean, the old stoner liberal from California.
I'll take whatever I can get, baby.
Scofflaw.
I tried to get out. I tried to get out with a little keg of eggnog.
And while I moved my TV out to the Bill Press Memorial Garden last night to watch the debates, me and my sad little baloney that has no name sandwich while you're smoozing with the president, but. The plants have grown an extra foot because of all the manure they were slinging. What they proved to me is more troops on the ground, more war.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what Obama does; he can't do anything right. But by the way, Obama's strategy's been perfect because now we're getting other people involved, and we don't have to shoulder it all by ourselves.
You know what? You were absolutely right. The whole thing was supposedly focused on national security. And all I heard, like you, right, was more ground troops, more bombing missions, shoot down more planes, right? And more, except for Rand Paul. Everybody was saying, more of the same. Let's topple more dictators. Let's start more wars because it's all worked out so well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm with Lindsey. Hey, I'm down with Donald. Let's get it on, baby.
All right, you got it. Thanks, Ike. Watching TV out in this the Bill Press Memorial Garden.
I don't want to know what Ike's growing in that garden.
But I thought it took a lot of guts for Rand Paul last night to stand up there on that stage, and I think he's absolutely right. And he says, "Listen, we topple Bashar al-Assad, right? It's going to be more chaos.
Yeah.
It's already. That's where ISIS is, right? It's already proven to be another recruiting ground for Al Qaeda and ISIS. So has Libya.
Yeah.
And he made that point. Look, we had regime change in Libya, and look where we are. We had regime change in Iraq, and look where we are. I thought he made a very strong point. Not a winning point in the Republican Party.
No.
But, the problem is I'm not sure it's a winning point even in the Democratic Party. There are too many politicians on both sides, I think, who believe that the answer is for us to go in and overthrow anybody we don't like, and that democracy is going to bloom instantly. It didn't happen in Libya, didn't happen in Egypt, didn't happen in Iraq, not going to happen in Afghanistan, would not happen in Syria. Last night's debate, though, all they want to do is, more troops, more planes, more bombs, and more war.
Yeah.
Melvin is in South Bend, Indiana, joining us on our line. Hello, Melvin.
Hello, Bill, and good morning to you and the staff.
Thank you. What do you think out there?
Well, what I observed last night was the clown car filled with, just as you described, violent thoughts of bombing and sending troops, but none of them, except Ben Carson, asked Congress to vote for war. And so my bottom line is, when they try to say the president had a red line, him and Hillary Clinton, of course he had a red line, and I'm glad he took a second thought, because if you bombed Syria at that point with all those chemicals in there, there would probably be nobody left in Israel. And so they finally moved it out, but they keep going back to the red line, but never finishing up the fact that there's no more chemical weapons there.
By the way, I didn't, because I was at the White House, I wasn't able to see all the debate. I didn't realize that Carson called on Congress to do its job. But that's a very good point, Melvin, because, that they can complain all they want about this war, right? The Congress won't even debate whether or not we ought to be there in Syria.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the president has said, I want a new authorization for the use of military force. Congress has not been willing to do it. Melvin, thanks. Good to hear from you. By the way, on Ben Carson, we haven't heard from him for a while there. I just think he knocked himself out of contention last night. He really didn't know what he didn't. I had no idea what he was talking about.
This is clearly him in the deep end, right? Foreign policy,
totally in over his head. So Hugh Hewitt, I just asked him the question, Commander-in-Chief, would you, a lot of people get killed in warfare, right? And not just members of the military. A lot of civilians get killed. You cannot escape it. Are you willing to make that decision, including lives of children? Ben Carson.
You are okay with the deaths of thousands of innocent children and civilians. It's like, you got it. Could you order airstrikes that would kill innocent children by not the scores, but the hundreds and the thousands? Could you wage war as a commander-in-chief?
Well, interestingly enough, you should see the eyes of some of those children when I say to them, we're going to have to open your head up and take out this tumor. They're not happy about it, believe me. And they don't like me very much at that point. No. But later on, they love me. Sometimes I sound like him.
Listen, that is exactly...
That's what's wrong with Ben Carson. So he goes back to his neurosurgeon days at taking tumors out of it. No,
that sounds just like the Kid Mero, the impression
this is
of the Bodega Boys. That is straight up.
While we're talking about killing children,
yeah.
He
relates it back to brain surgery.
This is Saturday Night Live.
When I want to crack their heads open.
Jeff is calling from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, I just thought it was a complete. I had to stop watching it, and I try to watch his debates with. I'm progressive, but it was just so ridiculous. I felt Trump was. He was. He toned it down a little bit, but the thing they should have been talking about was climate change.
By the way, wasn't much talk about that, was there?
Yeah, well, there was no talk about it, and. I am a disabled American veteran, 100%, and I can tell you something. If you don't have a good terrain to fight on, baby, you better be talking about something about us other than going to war, because terrain. For instance, I'll just give you a real shootout here, real fast. Airborne. When we went over to Vietnam, we only made 2 jumps, and everybody got killed. And then we went to air mobility. Terrain is relevant to climate change.
Yep, right. And these guys, I'll tell you, Jeff, don't know anything about it, and that was obvious last night. Good to hear from you, Jeff, and thank you for your service to our country. We will jump out to Las Vegas now, and believe it or not, of course, we've been watching the networks this morning, and
who's crazy enough to get up at this hour?
Let's hope David Jackson is from USA Today. We'll be right back.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at Facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman, and all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going, as a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive. We want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner, one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
Radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we go now at 12 minutes before the top of the hour. Early on a Wednesday, December 16, but it's not as early here as it is out in Las Vegas. And we've been watching the cable channels this morning here with, they've got their panels up, they've got their anchors up, they've got guests on everything. And we've been asking ourselves, who is crazy enough to get up this early?
Well, we couldn't find
him in Las Vegas. Or stay up, right.
We couldn't find them in the room, so they found them somewhere propped up at a blackjack table.
Oh, no.
All right. And, of course, we're talking about, don't tell Susan Page, David Jackson from USA Today. Hello, David. You missed a big party at the White House last night, by the way.
I know. I was looking at the pictures on social media. I was a little jealous, but we had a little bit of excitement here in Las Vegas.
Well, you did indeed. So what? It's hard to have just one, but what's your big takeaway from last night?
Rubio and Cruz attacked each other and basically deferred to Donald Trump, so he was able to skate for most of the evening.
Yeah, he wasn't he?
Well, yeah, except for Jeb Bush. Yeah. Jeb Bush got on him, but it's hard to tell how much effect that might have because Jeb's been struggling so much with a lot of voters. But it seemed to me like Trump kind of got a pass, particularly from his two closest competitors, Cruz and Rubio.
Well, Cruz and Rubio realized that they are in competition for the non-Trump vote, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Or what happened? So, and they went after each other on immigration, on
on regime change, on just about approach to national security, everything. Who do you think came out the better of the two?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I would love to take a focus group on it. I think the more conservative voters would probably go with Cruz, and the more traditional voters probably would lean toward Rubio. But it was a fascinating back and forth constantly throughout the evening. I really don't know how it's going to play out with the Republican electorate.
They were ready for it, weren't they? I mean, I think they realized.
Definitely planned for. They definitely planned. That was their strategy. I think they realized that, like you say, they're in competition with each other to be the alternative to Trump, and they're going to go for it. They're going to engage. We'll probably hear a lot more about this on the campaign trail now for the next month and a half.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be Cruz. That's right, Cruz, Rubio, and meanwhile, I agree with you. I think Donald Trump walked in the front runner and walked out the front runner. Right?
Oh yeah, I don't think no one really messed up badly, and no one really had a great moment. So I don't think it's going to change the polls or the order of finish right now.
I thought Chris Christie had a good night.
He did, and he was ready too. And gosh, did you realize he was a former governor, and not only he's a governor but a former prosecutor?
No kidding.
Who knew?
Knew?
You guys hear about that?
Who could have possibly known?
Yeah.
What's the weather outside? Hey, I was a attorney during 9/11. No, that was definitely his message. I think it's a good one. I mean, particularly because the Senators Paul, Rubio, and Cruz were always arguing about who voted for what bill.
I know,
it was an easy opportunity for Chris to come and say, these guys are Washington politicians. I'm a governor who's made decisions, and yes, I think he was very effective with that. The big whisper last night in the hall was that Christie's going to be in the same position in New Hampshire that Cruz is in Iowa. He's going to be the favorite pretty soon.
Well, he's certainly moving up in New Hampshire. I've heard a lot of talk about whatever happens in Iowa. Keep your eye on New Hampshire, where Chris Christie has made his stand. He's basically ignoring Iowa, right? It's
all or nothing. Oh yeah. So he's putting all his chips on New Hampshire. He's rising in the polls, and a lot of people seem to think he'll continue to rise there, including people in New Hampshire who vote for other candidates.
I got to tell you, so I know Ben Carson studied hard to show that he knows as much about foreign policy as the rest of these guys. I think it's all over for Ben Carson, David.
Oh yeah, his numbers are very different. Yeah, it's going to be very. Once you go up like he did and then come right down, it's very tough to go back up. I think he's in a lot of trouble. I think he's in trouble. Fiorina thinks in trouble. It's slowly morphing into a 4 or 5 person race.
It really is. That's where we started this morning. I was making the point. I think that my takeaway was this is a smaller field than it looks. Right.
Right. I think it's right. I think it's absolutely right. I think 4 or 5 people, and people have to do certain things. I think interestingly, while Cruz is ahead in the polls in Iowa, he's in a position now where he either has to win it or he's done. Same thing for Christie in New Hampshire. So I would say Trump's, I think, obviously ahead. His numbers have gone up since these terrorist attacks. They got Cruz and Rubio vying for their position, and Christie in New Jersey. And I still think Bush is worth keeping an eye on because he's got strong organizations in all these states.
Right. If there was a surprise last night, it might have been Trump's declaration that he was in it to stay.
Yes, he's outspoken declaration. He basically read out he basically opted out of the third party bid, pretty coherent. Now, obviously, pledges don't mean that much, but it's going to be very hard for him to walk back what he said last night. He said he's going to not go for a third party bid, and he's going to back the Republican nominee, and he expects that to be him. I was a little surprised at how vociferous he was on that question.
I was too. I got to tell you, the crowd. What was up with the crowd? They were all over the place last night, right? They were booing. Rand Paul, it seemed, had a big contingent there, a libertarian sort of contingent, and then
strong libertarian streak here in Nevada. So and they were just happy to be there because Paul wouldn't have made the stage if it hadn't been for one last poll on Sunday morning. So they were just happy to be there. It was, high rolling crowd. Vegas, they were having a good time. A lot of them had maybe partaken with maybe at the casino or at the bars before they came in. They seemed to be having a good time.
Well, I hope
it was a good substantive debate. I just don't think anybody came out that much ahead than anyone else. I think it's kind of a status quo kind of situation.
Well, David Jackson, it's all over now. So the rest of the rest of the time is just yours. Just go out.
No, now I got to write the recap. So here we go.
The fun stuff.
The
actual work.
All right. Well, thanks for giving us some time this morning, David. We'll see you back here in D.C.
Right. I hope you had a good time at the White House, Bill. Thanks.
Yes, we did indeed. David Jackson in Las Vegas, usatoday.com.
Hey, here we go, friends and neighbors. A little time out here to talk about this Free Speech TV pledge drive. It's our December pledge drive. Your last chance
to help free speech and to take advantage of the tax deduction before the end of the year. Heading into the weekend, we encourage you to not to wait any longer, to take advantage of this opportunity to show your support for free speech right now. As I mentioned the other day, no more Mr. Nice Guy just telling you how much we love you and how much we know you love us, and therefore you're going to help us. No. I told you I was going to get a little tougher. In fact, they came out and said, come on, make your pledge, damn it. And guess what? It worked. We had the biggest day we had so far just because I used the damn it phrase. So let's try it again, all right? Let's be a little tougher. Stop farting around. Yeah, come on, get off your ass and make your pledge, damn it, and do it today. We need your help. Seriously, look, we wouldn't even be doing this pledge drive. We wouldn't even be asking for your help if it weren't important. You know about Free Speech TV. It is such a rare national treasure, and I'm so proud to be part of it. It is the only independent, the only progressive, the only totally freewheeling, the only non-corporate media out there on television that you can enjoy 24/7 with such great hosts and great information and great opportunity to get your voices out there. And if that's what you want and that's what you appreciate, then please show your appreciation by helping us as much as you can. Any pledge is valuable. Any pledge we appreciate. Any pledge keeps us going. We just ask you to be as generous as you can. And you do your share. We'll do our share by sending you some wonderful little gifts to accompany your pledge. If you can just help us with $30, a pledge for $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. For $60, that's $5 a month. Come on, a Free Speech TV calendar with a photograph for every month of one of your favorite Free Speech TV hosts, including yours truly. $120, $10 a month for Bill Press Show pint glasses. You can sip while you watch. For $240, a little package put together for the Women's Bean Project, a contribution to that great project, like a little can of soup and a bundle of cornbread, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $360, a Carol Press scarf like this one that's just $30 a month. Some of you have already done this. I've heard from some of you, and so excited to get a Carol Press scarf for that $360 pledge. For $1,000, you get yourself to Washington early in 2016. Carol and I will take you out to dinner and come on in the next morning and meet our whole team here. Make your pledge today, again, as generously as you can to 877-378-8669, or go online to freespeech.org. Again, thank you for your help. Happy holidays.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, we got a lot more debate talk coming up with Daniel Newhouser from the National Journal and Alex Bolton from The Hill. And then Justin Sink will be along from Bloomberg Business as well throughout the morning. Peter, was there any other news of the day?
Yeah, they're talking about the debate. Just a quick little recap. There's a new tradition this year of singing the national anthem at the debate. Last night was no exception. CNN brought up Ayla Brown, daughter of former Senator Scott Brown. She showed up and sang the Star-Spangled Banner ahead of the debate.
That's who that was.
Yeah, that's who that was.
They don't need the Star-Spangled Banner
I agree.
These debates. There's nothing patriotic about these debates.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, friends, a little time out here again to talk about Free Speech TV and our latest pledge drive. And all I got to say is, hey, people, come on, get on the ball. Listen, we're about halfway through this pledge drive already here in December. Your last chance to get that tax deduction that you're looking for, that you may need here at the end of the year, and you can do so by helping Free Speech TV. But we're about halfway through the pledge drive, and we're still lagging far behind. We've got over $200,000 we've got to raise in the next week and a half. Here on this show, remember, we've set a goal of $1,500 a day. We've been falling short of that, so Really got to tell you, come on, you got to step up the game here. Get off your ass and make your pledge. Just think about it this way. Think about what a great national treasure free speech is. Think about how much you depend on us and you count on us every day to bring you not only tell you what's happening today, but to bring you the progressive slant on those issues, the truth about those issues, and to give you a chance to talk about it. Think about how much you count on that, how much it means to you, and also think about the fact that it's true, honest truth. We would not be here without you, and it's also true that we will not continue to be here without your help. We've got to make that not every pledge drive so we can keep bringing you the best programming possible every day. Ask you to consider making a pledge of at least $100, but whatever you can do, large or small, we really appreciate it, and it keeps us going. And remember, we'll come back at you with a little gift for your pledge. If you can just help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, $5 a month, guys. That's nothing. A free speech TV calendar with photos of all your favorite free speech hosts. $120, $10 a month for that pledge. 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses for $240. Very special. We want to help the Women's Bean Project make a contribution to them on your behalf. And then you will get a little bundle with a can of soup and a bundle of cornbread and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses, plus the, the Free Speech TV calendar as well. $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf, a work of art for you or someone you love, a rayon chenille scarf. And for $1,000, if you can do that, and you can afford it, be that generous, get yourself to Washington, and Carol and I will take you out to dinner as our guests and then invite you into the studio the next morning to meet our team here and be part of the show. We are a family, free speech family. We want you to show that you're part of this family by making your pledge today at 877-378-8669 or just go to freespeech.org. Make your pledge today. Come on, let's do it.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Donald Trump says, nope, he is not going to leave the Republican Party. He is there to stay. For now. We'll see how long that pledge lasts. Hello, everybody. What do you say? Wednesday, December 16, the morning after the big showdown in Las Vegas last night. 9 Republican candidates on stage for the main event. 4 there for the JV event a little bit earlier. And that's dominating our conversation today here on the Bill Press Show. Not entirely. We also want to talk about what Congress was up to early this morning, finally reaching agreement on its budget bill. And we'll take you all the way through it here. It is the Bill Press Show coming to you live across this great land of ours, coast to coast, on the radio and on television. Wherever you happen to be, we are there with you on the radio, on your local progressive talk radio station, and on the TuneIn app or the iHeart Radio app, both of them free. Make sure you got them on your phone. Or we're also there with you on Free Speech TV, on DirecTV and the Dish Network. So, number 1, thanks for joining us. Number 2, we invite you to really be part of the program by weighing in with your comments, either by phone at 866-55-PRESS or on Twitter at BP Show or on Facebook, facebook.com/BillPressShow. It takes a village. It takes a team. We've got a good one here led by Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson.
Hello, Bill.
Hello.
Yes, indeed. Ray Rogers on the phones, ready to take your calls at 866-55-PRESS, and Cyprian Bolding on the job as our videographer, as always. And, boy, I got to tell you, these debates, they start too late and they last too long, don't you think?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Big time. It drives me nuts, man.
Particularly when you have an early call, the way we do. And we're also joined this hour. We're going to start off by taking a look at the important announcement made and important agreement come to on the budget. Daniel Newhouser covers the Congress for the National Journal. And debate or no debate, he's here early this morning. Hello, Daniel. Nice to see you.
How you doing?
Yeah, all right. You could escape that whole thing last night, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch a single minute of the debate, actually. I was in the Capitol while it was all going on. Maybe
so jealous.
Maybe not coincidentally, they had a meeting of the House Republicans at the exact same time the debate happened, so none of them can talk about what Trump said today.
You know what? That was probably...
That was planned.
That was planned.
You have to wonder.
Yeah, that was planned, yeah. And I mentioned earlier, I was at the White House last night at one of the annual Christmas parties for the press, and there were people actually who came early so they could leave and still cover the debate. And I said, you guys are crazy. God. No, I mean, come on.
Use the excuse, man. You got a built-in excuse.
Indeed. So this is the time of the year where, when the lists come out and all the collections come out, there's also, they do it every year, some of the funniest moments in local television. I call them TV bloopers, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and this one came from WLBT down in Jackson, Mississippi. There was a police chase going on, and the local television station caught up with a guy with green hair who was on his way into a Burger King, but he sees a police chase, and he tells us, well, Peter, you'll have to translate here.
All right, I'll do my best.
All right, because you're from the South. He tells us all about it.
Police was trying to do a stop point. The man said, no, not today. And they began to race behind each other like cats and dogs. And the police car just twisted around like a tornado, girl. And the Lord just shook it up and the man just got injured. His head went to one side and his body went to the other side. And girl, he hit the pole. I was actually going to buy me a piece of burger from Burger King.
A piece of burger.
And I just stopped right in the middle because my hunger just went away.
That's it. Yeah, he stopped right in the middle.
Wow, like a tornado, girl.
Drop that piece of burger right on the ground.
I went to go get a piece of burger from Burger King. Yeah, sure, okay.
Fight like cats and dogs? I don't know, man. I could.
That's a lot.
Let's rerun that tape.
That's a lot to take in. My goodness.
Sure is. Jackson, Mississippi. A lot more of those we'll hear as we go along. Anyhow, Daniel Newhouser here with us for the first half hour, and then Alex Bolton from The Hill will be joining us to get back on some debate talk. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Yes, indeed. Just a couple of other stories making news. Hillary Clinton is going to get some help in Des Moines and Iowa City. Yesterday, the Des Moines Register reported that Lena Dunham, the star of Girls, is going to be out stumping for Hillary Clinton. She's going to join the campaign in January. Going to go out and make the pitch for Hillary in Iowa. So, smart move, I guess, if you're going to try and get younger people to come out and vote.
But Bernie's got rapper Killer Mike.
He's got Killer Mike and he's got Bun B. Bun B, but two great rappers both come out for Bernie.
Bernie talks in rap,
sort of.
Yeah. The Hip Hop Caucus.
I'd love to see Bernie put the hip hop. Big announcement from Doug Roush. Who is Doug Roush? He is the former president of Trader Joe's, which we all know and love, Trader Joe's. So he is no longer with Trader
Joe's. By the way, they're building a new Trader Joe's right across the street.
Right across the street. That big pit over there is going to be a Trader Joe's. But he's starting a new company. It's called Daily Table. It's a grocery store that is going to stock a lot of the same things that boutique stores stock, right? Good things, good healthy things, organic stuff. But he is going to sell it for way cheaper. He says he doesn't even plan to make a profit on this store at Daily Table. $1.19 for a dozen eggs, $1.99 for a block of cheddar cheese, 55 cents for a can of tuna is all he wants to charge. And they are targeting food deserts, especially inner city places that don't have a lot of great options for fresh food. He wants to bring that to people who don't have it. So good for him. It's a big move.
Yeah, big move. Don't know whether it will work. You got to make some money.
Got to make some money, you'd think. And yesterday, Netflix, before the debate, tweeted out a little teaser saying that President Frank Underwood would be making an announcement. Of course, Frank Underwood from House of Cards.
Yes.
So during the debate, they did make the big announcement. March 4th will be when we see the next season of House of Cards. They also unveiled a whole new website for Underwood, which is...
I saw that spot. That was pretty clever.
Yeah, that was good.
It looked like it was something coming direct from the White House or something, and then, they show it, and there's Underwood... Kevin
I'm a little
Spacey
over that
sitting
show.
behind the desk.
I didn't finish.
It does nothing for me.
I didn't finish watching last season. Last season was just awful.
Yeah.
A little soap opera.
Yeah, I gave up on it. So, I mean, there's still a lot of people who watch it, though.
I think they... What's the phrase? Jump the shark?
Jump the shark.
Yeah.
Now that they're not in Congress anymore, I feel like I can stop watching.
Yeah, that's right. You're off the hook.
I don't have to defend my profession against how they depict it.
Not my beat anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I was surprised when Boehner stepped down that Spacey didn't step up.
Yeah, right?
I mean, forget Paul Ryan. Forget Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, right, exactly. All right, so then we complained because we had to stay up late watching the debate. You've got to stay up late watching this Congress. They finally reached an agreement at 2 a.m. this morning?
They released it at 2 a.m. So I was there at about 9 p.m. They started a conference meeting with the House Republicans. Paul Ryan got in the room, announced that they have a deal. I think there were not very many surprises, but people were anxious to see what kind of policy riders, legislative add-ons that they were going to get to sort of sweeten the deal.
So this deal, first of all, this is a House deal or a Senate deal or a House, move up a little bit, or a House and Senate deal?
Both. It's been kicked up in recent, it had been kicked up in recent days to the top four leaders, McConnell, Reid, Pelosi.
Really, at
Ryan.
their level, they're doing this kind of negotiating?
Yeah, so it started off with just the appropriations committees, the spending committees, and the Ways and Means committees, because there's also a big tax bill that's being discussed. But they kind of got most of the underlying stuff settled, the spending levels, and then there were about 7 outstanding legislative rider issues still left, and that had to be kicked up to leadership.
All right, now, so if this deal, which was announced this morning, I want to come back to talk about what riders are in and which riders are not. But does it have to be voted on by the House and the Senate?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
when will that happen?
Well, I think that they're going to have to pass another short-term continuing resolution, just a couple of days.
Oh, that's right, because
tomorrow it's Wednesday.
Tonight.
So tonight at 11:59:59.
And couldn't they vote on it today?
Yeah, they'll have to vote on something today.
But I mean, they can't vote on this deal today.
They could, but Ryan has promised 3 days to give everybody time to look it over. So the earliest they can vote on is Thursday. But technically, the 3-day rule means, if you release something on a certain legislative day, so, even though it was 2 a.m., that's still considered Tuesday night. So we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. They might even go to Friday, though. And then what the Senate does, we'll see. I mean, they have to have unanimous consent. And, guys like Ted Cruz haven't been very generous in giving that out. So that might even roll into next week, worst case, or in the weekend. But we'll see.
For the Senate,
That's right.
Well, there's another little problem here that President Obama leaves Friday.
Sure, yeah.
For Hawaii.
I guess they better whip out the auto pen.
That's right.
Or, there are planes to Hawaii, so I guess they could take it over there. He could sign it on the beach.
Make for a nice photo op.
Hawaii. So they're not going to meet tonight's deadline, though. And yesterday at our White House briefing, Josh Earnest said if they need just a little time just to wrap things up, that the White House would support another continuing resolution, short term.
Yeah.
So there were still questions. Yesterday, most of the questions were about lifting the ban on the export of crude oil.
Yep.
Did that make it in?
Yes, that's in the tax extender bill. The Republicans had really wanted this as one of their top priorities. This ban had been in effect since the 70s, and Democrats in exchange got some long-term extensions of renewable energy tax credits for individuals and for businesses. So wind and solar. Seems like a fair deal, a compromise, if you will. And I think that's how it's been sold.
Is the Planned Parenthood rider in there?
That is not in there. In fact, Republicans didn't even include it in their first offer.
That disappeared fast.
It did. I think there has been some time now between when the videos were released. And also, in the House, they impaneled this investigative subcommittee. So they're kind of trying to take it on that track. And in the Senate, they're doing this reconciliation bill that includes some Planned Parenthood stuff. So I think Republican leaders tried to tell their conference, we can't do a shutdown over this. It's not going to work. There's no point. Let's fight this on another track, and we'll deal with other issues in here. So
not to mention Colorado Springs.
That's true, I think probably optically that would have been a bad idea for Republicans to really press that issue. Some of them were still pushing for it. The Freedom Caucus made it one of their central issues.
How about the Syrian refugees?
That is not in there.
Not in there either?
Yeah, so the House passed bill that would have forced the DHS secretary, FBI director, and the director of national intelligence to sign off individually on each Syrian refugee. That's not in the bill. There is, however, some tightening of the visa waiver program.
Yeah.
So we've got scores of countries here that people can travel into the U.S. on a sort of tourism basis without having to get a visa. That is going to be tightened up. I think there's going to be more border controls required of the countries where people are coming from. Mostly European countries, but some South Korea. I think Bahrain is one of them. So yeah.
Does that include the K-1 visa that the wife of the?
It doesn't. Not to my knowledge. Yeah, I think
that's going to be legislative.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. I think people are itching anyways to take a better look at the visa system as a whole. Mm-hmm. But there comes a certain point where you're doing that and you start verging onto immigration reform territory, and that's really been a non-starter for this Congress for 5 years, and I can't imagine in the context of a big presidential race, especially this presidential race, how it's going on the Republican side with regard to immigration, that they're going to try to open that can of worms.
All right, now let's go back to the crude oil. I don't understand why. What is the Republican reason for wanting to lift to export crude oil? If we want to become really, I'm not trying to do from a partisan point of view here, just a policy point of view. If our goal is to become energy independent, right? Wouldn't we want to keep and refine and use all the crude oil that we develop or produce in this country?
Well, that's what Nancy Pelosi said last night, making the same point as you, is that, if we export the crude oil before refining it, we're losing the jobs that it would take to refine the oil.
Yeah.
But I guess there's some benefit here for the oil companies they can make more money by selling the crude oil on the open market.
I guess that would explain it, right? I mean, so the oil companies want to be able to export American crude.
This is certainly a big win for oil companies, yeah.
Right. And I have to tell you, we did not get a straight answer from Josh Earnest yesterday on whether or not the president would sign a bill with this in it. He kept saying, we oppose this, we don't think it's a good idea. Would you veto the bill? And they said, you know what our position is. We do not like this rider.
Well, the fact that they said that they didn't say the word veto, I think should tell you everything you need to know. This is a compromise, a sort of old school legislative bargaining.
Is this a big win for Paul Ryan?
I don't know if it's a big win for Paul Ryan. He really sought to sort of temper expectations with his conference in saying, there's some stuff we like in here. We didn't get a lot of the stuff that we really wanted, but he was able to legislate, and I think it's going to pass. So, able to avoid a government shutdown in his first few months on the job, I would say that that's a win.
Sure.
But he didn't get the sort of the big policy wins that people were looking for. Then again, this is sort of a continuation of the Boehner era. Boehner set up this process with the budget deal that was recently passed, and I think Ryan is trying to sort of put a lot of this stuff behind him. All these bills that passed in the last couple of weeks, highway bill and so on and so forth, he's trying to just clear the table and start fresh next year.
Next year, right. Daniel Newhouser covers the Congress for the National Journal here in studio with us. This is a big deal. It's $1.1 trillion, and you're paying for it. Any questions about it? Here's the time to get your answers at 866-55-PRESS.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
Okay, friends and neighbors, here we go. Second week of our December pledge drive for Free Speech TV, and we really, really, really need your help. We got a lot on our plate these days. December's a very busy time. I mean, you heard the president the other night. The president says we have to do everything we can to degrade and destroy ISIS. That's one big challenge. We've got to do everything we can to make guns not so easily accessible in this country. That's another big challenge. We've got to get all of our holiday shopping done. Oh, my God. And we've got to save Free Speech TV. That's another big challenge for December. That's why we're turning to you. And let's just get that one out of the way right now. Make your pledge today and do your bit to keep Free Speech TV going. We've got a great, great partnership. I tell you that all the time. I love being part of it. We, Stephanie and Tom and I and Amy Goodman, everybody else, we bring you all the best programming, the best guests, the best commentary that we can every single day. And you help us stay on the air by making your pledges whenever we turn to you as generously as you can and keep that. So let's keep that great partnership going. The only full-time progressive television channel in the nation today, the only free, independent, freewheeling, totally uncensored programming coming to you every day. We know you appreciate that, but we couldn't do it without you. No corporate money, no government money. You are the blood and soul of Free Speech TV. So we ask you again to dig in as generously as you can. Every single pledge, no matter how large, no matter how small, is deeply appreciated by all of us. I'll give you some idea of
what you might think about for $30. Pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, that pledge, $5 a month. A Free Speech TV calendar with pictures of all your favorite hosts on it. For $120 pledge, $10 a month. 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses for $240, $20 a month. A great little package supporting the Women's Bean Project, which includes a contribution to them, plus a can of soup, a bundle of cornbread for you, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. $30 a month pledge, $360, a beautiful hand-woven, one-of-a-kind Carol Press scarf for this winter. And for $1,000, if you can afford that, get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll bring you in the next morning to meet the whole show here. We'll even get some donuts in from District Donuts and have a big party. Make your pledge today. Please go to 877-378-8669 or just go online to freespeech.org. Free Speech TV, great partnership. Let's keep it going. Make your pledge today, and thank you.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, 27 minutes after the hour, Alex Bolton from The Hill joins us at the half hour. Dan Newhouser from National Journal, nationaljournal.com here. So, Dan, is this, they get this deal done, is this it for the year?
Yep, this is it. Everyone goes home for Christmas, and we won't see them again until next year.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, right. Well, they have about 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I think it'll probably get done this week, at least on the House side. The Senate might just take a little bit longer. But, you know, a lot of these guys who would object are running for the presidency. They don't want to be stuck here in D.C. So I think, you know, pushing this up until the very last deadline before Christmas break.
They may just kind of look the other way or something.
Sort of strategic, yeah. I mean, it'll pass one way or the other. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. They've got a little more important priority. And finally, the Freedom Caucus going to go along with this?
I doubt it. We might see some of them vote for it or against it. I think they might have met last night, if I'm not mistaken, and they'll probably try to vote. You know, they vote as a block, so they'll have an internal vote to decide how they're going to vote on the actual legislation. But they were asking for the Syrian refugee language,
right? All that
Planned
stuff.
Parenthood language. None of that's in there. I can't imagine them going along with it.
So Paul Ryan will have to get this with the help of some Democrats,
which has always been known, and that's why they had so much leverage to keep most of these riders off. I think Nancy Pelosi really flexed her muscle here.
Yeah, very good. Hey, Dan, great to see you. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll be back. Alex Bolton from The Hill.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Neighbors, a little word about Free Speech TV. You know, it's that time of year. Our December pledge drive, very, very important before the end of the year. Your last chance to get a tax deduction for making a charitable contribution to our nonprofit Free Speech TV, and hope you take advantage of that. Come on, how much do you love us? Show me today. Let's make that $1,500 goal that we've got today. At least 15 of you with a pledge of $100 will put us over the top. And you know, I got to tell you, we've been doing this now a couple of years now. It's the same with every pledge drive. I always start out really nice, you know, we love you, you love us, show us how much you love us, give us a contribution, help keep Free Speech TV on the air. And you know what? It never works. Same thing, we're off to a slow start again. It seems like the only way that we can get you guys to respond So get a little testy here. I mean, come on, people. Damn it. Show us how much you love us. Look, remember, Free Speech TV is built on this whole principle. It's something never seen before in the American media, okay? I mean, people who founded Free Speech TV figured, okay, if it's really true that you don't like the corporate media, and none of us do, all right, then we'll do something different, right? We won't take any government money, won't take any corporate money, won't take any Koch brothers money. And if you really like that, you will respond by digging in and keeping free speech on the air. So this is something, again, totally new, totally independent, and that's why we can be as progressive as we are 24/7, all of us on Free Speech TV. So you either like that plan, you like that principle, you like that approach, or you don't. And if you do, again, please show it by digging in and making a big a pledge as you can to keep free speech going, keep it on the air. It is so important. We depend entirely on you, and we'll help you with a little prompt maybe to make that pledge today. If you can help us with just $30 a year, we'll give you send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. For $60 a year, this is $5 a month. A Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all your favorite hosts on it. $120 pledge, $10 a month. A Bill Press Show, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, something very special, a little bundle put together by the Women's Bean Project, including a contribution to the Bean Project, can of soup and a little bundle of cornbread, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $360, a great, great gift for yourself or someone you love, a hand-woven scarf by my wife, Carol Press. And again, for $1,000, the big prize, you get yourself to Washington, you and a guest, Carol and I will take you out to dinner at our treat, and we'll bring you into studio to meet the whole team the next morning. Please help as much as you can. We really, really need it. And do it today. Take advantage of this end-of-the-year opportunity to get your taxes down a little bit by helping Free Speech TV. You know how to do it? Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org. Make your pledge today as generously as you can, and thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
How about it? 33 minutes after the hour, Wednesday, December 16. Stayed up most of the night last night watching the Republican debate. All right, now's the time to talk about it here on The Bill Press Show. We're coming to you live from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Brought to you today by the United Steelworkers and their international president, Leo Gerard. The United Steelworkers, North America's largest industrial union, representing over 1.2 million active and retired members. And check out their website at usw.org. And the latest on their big fight against Allegheny, which is trying to lock them out. The United Steelworkers is going to win that battle. Talked about the debate last night. That's why this guy looks so hungover this morning.
Oh, wow. He was better than any of us.
Alex Bolton, he watched every last minute of it. You know why? Because we couldn't do it. I was at the White House at a little Christmas party. Peter, I don't know, whatever excuse, Alex. So we're counting on you to bring us through. Hi, Alex. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
From The Hill, thehill.com, of course. Overall, what was your big, you walked away from the debate, turned the TV off. What was your big takeaway from it?
Well, that national security is now dominating the debate, and I guess that's no big surprise. But on the other hand, it doesn't really reflect what we've been seeing on Capitol Hill, where the debate's been focused on taxes, spending, fiscal issues like it always has. But out in the rest of the country, national security is really dominating, and that's what dominated the debate last night. And I think the shooting in San Bernardino really woke people up and realized that what's going on in Syria and in Europe doesn't just affect those countries, but it's going to affect us as well. And so we're seeing kind of the fear of terrorism in the United States at a greater level than any time since 9/11, and that is what the debate was entirely about, and it's why Ben Carson's faded.
Now here, let me take a little tangent there, okay, if I can, because you're absolutely right. The focus now is the presidential campaign, particularly Republican side. National security is the issue, and you linked 9/11 to San Bernardino, right? We saw domestic terrorism in Roseburg, Oregon. We saw it in Colorado Springs, right? We saw it in Charleston, South Carolina. We saw it in Newtown, Connecticut. There was never this fear or this reaction, right, to any of that violence. It was I don't think there's been this kind of reaction since September 11 until San Bernardino. Why?
I would guess that there's some underlying xenophobia there, and Trump made his comments that
because there were Muslims in one case and Muslims in the other. Isn't that it?
I think that's a big part of it. I think the other part of it is that there's this idea that there's something concerted going on, that there's a concerted effort by ISIS to infiltrate the United States with sleeper cell terrorists, and that they got their hands on assault weapons this time, but next time it could be a dirty bomb or it could even be a nuclear weapon. And I think that's the underlying fear. But a big part of it is this xenophobia. And it's something that
Islamophobia.
Yeah. It's something that Trump has tapped into by proposing the Muslim ban. And while in Washington and kind of the elite chattering classes, people are agog. They can't believe he said something like that. Polls show that about 65% of likely Republican voters think it's not such a bad idea, at least a temporary suspension of Muslim immigration.
Yeah. I saw a poll yesterday. I did a show yesterday, and they showed a poll as part of this interview that 49% of Republican voters think that President Obama is a Muslim still today.
Jesus.
Wow. Just how that feeds into the Islamophobia. A lot of that is...
Well, maybe that's why they hate him so much.
Yeah, right.
Well, a lot of that is related to this anti-Muslim, attitude that we're seeing surfacing now. That you're right, Trump... Not only Trump, but Trump particularly is tapped into. Okay, given that national security is the focus, given that last night's debate was all about national security, who emerged, who did well and who didn't?
Well, I think the consensus coming out of last night's debate is it was Jeb Bush's best debate, and he's not great at the zingers, not great at the one-liners, but I think he comes across as the adult in the room, at least compared to Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, who's many years his junior, his former protege.
Jeb Bush, speaking, I thought he was the one who was really willing and did take on Donald Trump. Do we have that clip where this is how he characterizes Donald Trump?
Donald, is great at the one-liners, but he's a chaos candidate, and he'd be a chaos president.
Chaos candidate, chaos president. It's a good line.
Yeah, chaoscandidate.com. I mean, that was surging on Jeb Bush's website last night. It really rallied his supporters, and as much as he stumbles over his words, he actually, I think he hit the nail on the head there. Getting at Trump's weakness, which is Trump is all over the place sometimes. So is this someone you really want in charge of the country? Do you want him as commander-in-chief? And Bush made the argument, no. He also attacked Trump for the Muslim ban proposal. He said, look, this is just going to push our Muslim allies further away from us. They're the folks we need to fight ISIS. Our strongest allies in the region are the Kurdish Peshmerga, who are Muslim. they're the ones who are going to be on the front lines fighting ISIS. So this is a terrible strategy. And, he called out Trump and said, look, Trump's proposals just aren't serious. And I think, while he said that in the past, he gained more traction last night because I think the stakes are higher because people's safety is at stake, communities' safety is at stake, national security is at stake. So I think people are taking him a little bit more seriously, and his gravitas plays better in this environment.
It'll be interesting to see how the chaos candidate thing plays, right? Because it's interesting that the Jeb Bush campaign bought that during the debate, by the way, to redirect chaoscandidate.com.
Is that right?
To go back to his website. But, Trump didn't have a great response to any of that. I was expecting for when they cut back to Trump for him to just explode.
He always comes back on the same. Well, this guy is weak, or he's just not doing so well. Look at me.
This is why I'm in the center stage.
Yeah,
that was his answer basically. I'm in the center stage. People like what I say.
Mm-hmm. If Jeb did well on that issue last night and helped himself, Ben Carson, not so much, huh?
Yeah, but Ben Carson's answer was, I have trouble remembering it. I mean, he's very weak on the national security issue. He embarrassed himself. Speaking to the Republican Jewish Coalition recently, he called Hamas hummus. That's one you got to get right. I mean, his
one would think.
Yeah, you've got to at least get that right.
He just doesn't have a lot of depth on national security.
And he showed it last night.
And he just wasn't. He didn't make much of an impression. But I think he's fast fading. And I think the guy who's taking his place is Ted Cruz. And Cruz is forceful on national security, and he is mimicking the Trump line, which is national security comes down to border security. And I think that may be the defining issue of the Republican presidential primary is immigration, border security, whether it's building the wall across Mexico, whether it's banning Muslim immigration, whether it's cracking down on Syrian refugees. Really what this, I think, primary is about for Republican or many of the populist Republican voters is the future composition of our country in terms of, is this going to be a white Christian country in the future or not? And I think that's why folks like Trump and Cruz are doing pretty well in places like Iowa.
Right. Okay. So to secure that position, Ted Cruz needs to eliminate Marco Rubio, right? Or at least best Marco Rubio on that issue. I thought Cruz was so the big challenge. Let's just listen to that one exchange if we can again, Jamie. The two of them back and forth on clearly the two freshman senators, both 44 years old, both realize one of them's going to be the non-Trump candidate and the other's not. So they came in ready to do battle last night, I think, and except for Carly Fiorina shrieking in the background, they go after each other.
Didn't trust the federal government.
No, Dana,
he campaigned in Florida promising to lead the fight against amnesty.
Support legalizing
he campaigned promising to lead the fight against
amnesty. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why Senator Cruz, can you answer that question, please?
Anyhow, so between Cruz and I thought Cruz was very effective when Marco Rubio's got a problem on immigration, right? I mean, he tries to be tough, but Marco Rubio was one of the gang of 8 who came up with an immigration bill, which I think was a good bill, by the way, from my point of view, which did include a path to citizenship for people who are here illegally that now he is trying to run away from.
Yes. And, when that bill came out in 2013 and it passed with a big majority and a bipartisan majority in the Senate, Rubio really saw his poll numbers take a hit in places like New Hampshire, the early primary states. And so he's since distanced himself from that bill. He is now kind of made it sound like the idea of putting together a comprehensive bill was a terrible strategy from the get-go. He wants to break it up, do it piecemeal, which is what the House Republicans are talking about. But Cruz isn't going to let him get away from it. And he invoked Reagan, as he likes to do, and he said, look, there was a time for choosing, and when there was that time for choosing, Rubio picked amnesty, I picked border security. And you know what? It's a line of attack that Rubio really doesn't have an answer for.
Showed last night he didn't have an answer for, I thought.
No, and some of the commentators on CNN last night were saying, this was the first time they'd really seen Rubio rattled, and Rand Paul jumped in on it too, and both Paul and Cruz said the same thing, which was Rubio sided with Chuck Schumer and Harry Reid and Barack Obama on the immigration issue. And this is, given it's such a big issue, I think that attack has meat. Now, what Rubio's response was, battling Cruz, he said, Cruz sided with Reid and Schumer on weakening the NSA, and there was a fight over that. But I don't think that has nearly the same salience as the immigration issue for the Republican primary.
And I thought Cruz was very clever in calling it the Rubio-Schumer plan. The Rubio-Schumer. He kept linking the two, which was I thought he came out the stronger one on that exchange. Last night's debate, so many dimensions of it. After all, it was so long, but it certainly kind of narrowed the field, I think. Let's talk about that when we come back. Alex Bolton here from The Hill, thehill.com. We'll be right back.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, starting out with our show and Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive. We hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, with Alex Bolton from The Hill, thehill.com. Here we go at 12 minutes before the top of the hour. Justin Sink joins us from Bloomberg Business in the next hour. And we'll have plenty of time for your calls as well about your take on last night's debate at 866-55-PRESS. Alex, Rand Paul, I don't think is going to be the nominee of the Republican Party, but Rand Paul has his own, basically horse to ride, and I thought it was very almost. He was really taking his life in his hands almost last night to stand up and say, all you guys are wrong on regime change, right? We tried it in Libya, it didn't work. We tried it in Egypt, it didn't work. We tried it in Iraq, it didn't work. And now you want regime change in Syria? He was basically saying we'd be better off leaving Assad in place. That's like heresy among that crowd.
Well, although Trump kind of said something similar. I mean, he talked about the
right.
Middle East being completely destabilized. He said, "I wish we had the $4 to $5 trillion back so we could spend it at home,
right.
on airports,
sounded like a Democrat.
roads." He sounded like a Democrat on education.
Yeah,
and and even Cruz, he invoked Benjamin Netanyahu and said, "Look, whether it's Assad or ISIS or the Sunni rebels in Syria, they're both bad actors. I mean, and that really it's a no-win situation."
Cruz has a libertarian streak when it comes to foreign policy. He does. And Donald Trump did say, Assad's a bad guy, and we can go after Assad, but first we got to do ISIS. I mean, so he was basically saying, let's stop this stuff about toppling Assad for now, right?
I think Cruz had an interesting line. Moderate Syrian rebels are like purple unicorns. I mean, they don't exist. And taking that line, I mean, I think that was an attack against the establishment, as embodied by John Kasich and Jeb Bush, who were talking about like, look, we need to, build these allies, these moderate allies up so that they can be a stable governing force. But, that really sounds like Iraq 2.0. Putting together some sort of moderate Sunni regime or a governing regime, in the Middle East, propped by American power. I mean, that's failed spectacularly over the last 10 years. And we saw it in Mosul when the American-trained Iraqi soldiers, government soldiers, fled and dropped their weapons and left all their equipment behind to 2,000 ISIS fighters. And it was ridiculous.
Our friend Mike Allen in Politico this morning says that his takeaway was that the field is smaller than it looks. That was his take on the debate last night. Would you agree? And if so, who are the serious ones that are left?
I think that's right. I think that there are how many? There are 8 on the stage. I can't remember.
There were 9 on stage and 4 on the baby debate.
Okay, so 9 on stage. So those are supposedly the people with a shot at it.
Yeah.
Those 9 on stage. Those 9 don't have a shot. Christie doesn't have a shot. Paul doesn't have a shot. Forgive. I hope their campaigns forgive me for saying that. But really, if it really, and I don't think Carson's seen as having a shot either. I think the people who are seen as having a realistic chance of winning that nomination are I think it just boils down to 4 people, and they are Trump, Cruz, Rubio, and I think you can't count Jeb Bush out completely just because he has so much money and establishment support, and that's why you saw Cruz and Rubio really going after each other.
Right.
They see themselves as in some ways the establishment or the credible alternative to Trump.
So you would not include Chris Christie in the? You wouldn't make it 5. You'd say 4.
No way. Chris Christie is way too liberal for that field, I think, and he comes from New Jersey. People in the South hate New Jersey.
But
it's interesting, really.
People have been saying for months now that Christie's going to have his moment. Everybody gets a moment. People keep saying, "Oh, it's time for Christie to have his moment." I hear Christie creeping up, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Well, I mean, he's gaining traction in New Hampshire,
a little bit,
and he's going to be a problem for Rubio in New Hampshire because there's some conventional wisdom out there. I don't necessarily subscribe to it that Rubio has to have a top 2 finish in either Iowa and New Hampshire. He's being blocked by Christie in New Hampshire, so that's a problem. Christie will do probably pretty well in New Hampshire, and that's a problem for Jeb Bush too. Christie's more of a spoiler in New Hampshire than anything else. But the fact is, right after that, you have the primary in South Carolina. You have a lot of these southern primaries. Christie is far too in the center to do well at all, and he's going to get squashed after New Hampshire, I think. So but keep an eye on Christie, potential attorney general if Republicans win the White House. I mean, I think he's a political power. He can be a big help to someone. He can be a future attorney general. He's not going to be the nominee.
Did you realize that he was a federal prosecutor and a governor as well?
That reminded me of the Saturday Night Live skit of the old Republican debates with John McCain, where his opponents would be like, "Really, John McCain, you're a veteran. I never knew. You're a POW. I never knew. Why didn't you tell us about it?"
He and John Kasich, boy, all they talk about is their resume.
Yeah.
When I was on the House Budget Committee,
Well, then, Christie likes to say, look, these people, the Senate's a debating society. I made decisions, but I think that masks actually his lack of foreign policy grasp, especially foreign policy grasp.
Right. All right, Alex, fun to relive the whole debate with you. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Alex Bolton. Check him out at thehill.com.
Follow us on Twitter at BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we go, friends and neighbors. A little time out here to talk about this Free Speech TV pledge drive. It's our December pledge drive. Your last chance to help free speech and to take advantage of the tax deduction before the end of the year. Heading into the weekend, we encourage you to not to wait any longer, to take advantage of this opportunity to show your support for free speech right now. As I mentioned the other day, no more Mr. Nice Guy just telling you how much we love you and how much we know you love us, and therefore you're going to help us. No. I told you I was going to get a little tougher. In fact, they came out and said, come on, make your pledge, damn it. And guess what? It worked. We had the biggest day we had so far just because I used the damn it phrase. So let's try it again, all right? Let's be a little tougher. Stop farting around. Yeah, come on, get off your ass and make your pledge, damn it, and do it today. We need your help. Seriously, look, we wouldn't even be doing this pledge drive. We wouldn't even be asking for your help if it weren't important. You know about Free Speech TV. It is such a rare national treasure, and I'm so proud to be part of it. It is the only independent, the only progressive, the only totally freewheeling, the only non-corporate media out there on television that you can enjoy 24/7 with such great hosts and great information and great opportunity to get your voices out there. And if that's what you want and that's what you appreciate, then please show your appreciation by helping us as much as you can. Any pledge is valuable. Any pledge we appreciate. Any pledge keeps us going. We just ask you to be as generous as you can. And you do your share. We'll do our share by sending you some wonderful little gifts to accompany your pledge. If you can just help us with $30, a pledge for $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. For $60, that's $5 a month. Come on, a Free Speech TV calendar with a photograph for every month of one of your favorite Free Speech TV hosts, including yours truly. $120, $10 a month for Bill Press Show pint glasses. You can sip while you watch. For $240, a little package put together for the Women's Bean Project, a contribution to that great project, a little can of soup and a bundle of cornbread, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $360, a Carol Press scarf like this one that's just $30 a month. Some of you have already done this. I've heard from some of you, and I'm so excited to get a Carol Press scarf for that $360 pledge. For $1,000, you get yourself to Washington early in 2016. Carol and I will take you out to dinner and come on in the next morning and meet our whole team here. Make your pledge today, again, as generously as you can to 877-378-8669 or go online to freespeech.org. Again, thank you for your help. Happy holidays.
This is the Bill Press Show.
We'll talk more debate. We'll take your calls. You watched it. What did you think of it? Who came out ahead? Who are the people we'll never hear from again? 866-55-PRESS, the top of the next hour. Justin Sink will also join us from Bloomberg Business News. President Obama, 2 things on the schedule today. He gets a daily briefing with the Vice President at 10 a.m. And then this afternoon, meeting with Secretary of State John Kerry. Again, the Vice President will be there for that meeting as well. And we have our briefing with Press Secretary Josh Earnest at 12:30 down at the White House. And I'm sure there's another 2 or 3 White House Christmas parties tonight. Back with hour number 3.
This is the Bill Press Show.
I'm a Piston fan. Their slogan was, "We come to work." That's what Detroit about. That's why they used it. It's a team thing. They won 2 championships, a team. There was no star. No mayor can come in here and be a star. It's a team thing. No governors can come here and think you can do it by yourself. It's a team thing. You got communities. They got ideas, too. The only thing wrong with Detroit, people have lost hope here. Residents, city workers, so much corruption. They lose hope. But I grew up here. I love this city. I think it can come back. I've been working for the city 24 and a half years. Within the last 10 years, we took 4 pay cuts, and then an additional 10% wage cut. I've lost a home.
When you take all of the decisions out of the city of Detroit, all of us, then what do you have? Exactly what we got, a lot of problems. Every time the city seems to fall into a problem, it's always on the backs of us workers.
You wake up out of a dead sleep and you jump behind the wheel and take off driving and try to get everybody there safe, not knowing really what you're pulling up to. I'm not eligible for Social Security, so the pension is my sole salary at this point.
We've been in business here 39 years. We've seen a lot of changes in Detroit. The area was a lot of industry, a lot of city workers. It's getting very tough for the city workers. It's getting tough for us as a business people.
Response times are increasing because of the closing of companies, which takes your insurance rate through the roof. So all the things that affect us affect the citizens.
I worked for the city in different capacities for 29 years. I feel like an old jacket. They use me up and they throw me away. In my condition, nobody's gonna hire me. I'm 68 years old. Half the times, I can't get my blood pressure medicine. It's either feeding myself, blood pressure, or paying bills.
$754. By the time they take all the deductions for I have my car insurance, my house insurance, and my health insurance taken out. So the time they take all that, I'll get about $300 after they take all that out. I don't understand it. I can't see how the governor is allowing this to happen and what they're doing and they want to blame it all on the seniors. Not only the seniors, but the city workers. And we worked hard. I know I worked hard.
I've been in Detroit since 1946. I was 14 years old when I came in. I don't live large at all. I wish I could. I don't know when the last time I've been shopping. I only get $1,100, and I'm 81 years old, and I need every penny that I can get and that I do get. And I'm very, very upset about the idea of them taking away my pensions that I worked 30 years for.
I think it's terrible that they talk about Detroit like they do, because Detroit has been very good to me.
I have a lot of city workers coming in with their uniforms on, Detroit Water Department, Police Department, Fire Department. I get a lot of people, the Border Patrol come in. So if I lose that customer base, I'm going to be in a position where I might have to close down. If they take away their pensions, if they start cutting jobs, it's going to cut into a large percentage of not only our business, but other businesses that are in the city of Detroit. We're here. We've been here for 26 years. We're still trying to do business in the city.
Detroiters are survivors. They tough, they adapt, but only can do so much when your politicians ahead of you and we're not on the same team. We're not gonna let Detroit be erased, bulldozed, or wherever. We're gonna fight to the bitter end. Detroit gonna survive.
Just this month, my bill was like $138.
Even at one phone call a week cost me $40 to $50 every month.
I am living on a fixed income of SSI, process is really a great hardship. Families are being punished. When they incarcerate your children, they incarcerate the whole family.
In 2011, the Media Action Grassroots Network, Working Narratives, and Prison Legal News founded the Campaign for Prison Phone Justice, an effort to call on the FCC to address the cost of interstate phone calls. The campaign mobilized prisoners to send hundreds of letters. Advocates and families filled out postcards, met with elected officials, and signed petitions. Partnerships were formed across the political spectrum and with groups in the criminal justice, civil rights, and public interest community. The film distribution company Participant Media and director Ava DuVernay joined the fight through a social action campaign tied to the release of the feature film Middle of Nowhere. In an effort to push the FCC to act, the campaign hosted a historic rally outside of the Federal Communications Commission where for the first time, families of prisoners, elected officials, civil rights and faith leaders came together to call for an end to predatory phone rates.
We're all held captive when predatory phone companies gouge our families.
My son has been incarcerated now for over 10 years, and my husband estimates that in the time we spent over $25,000 on prison phone calls.
My hero's not yours, you probably arrested them. Your schools probably neglected them. They spawn thoughts, you probably infected them. Feed us what you feed us, you can lay us next to them. FBI call it major crimes. Babies making babies cry.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
$1.1 trillion. That's the budget deal reached at 2 a.m. This morning. You're paying for it, and you're supposed to be happy about it. So there. Smile. Spend that money. Hello, everybody. Wednesday, December 16. How about it? It's the Bill Press Show. This is the morning after the big showdown in Vegas last night. Among the 9 supposedly serious Republican candidates for president, there were 4 others on the stage for the first debate as well. And we'll be tackling that and getting your comments on the debate here at the top of this hour together. Good to have you with us, whether you're listening on your local progressive talk radio station or watching us on Free Speech TV. We welcome you to the program and, again, encourage you to let us know what you think. Let your voices be heard by giving us a call at 866-55-PRESS. Or just send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Peter Rugburn and Jamie Benson, what's your name? Leading the team
Jesse.
Here this morning.
Jesse Benson. Yeah, if you ask Sabrina, I'm Jesse.
Sabrina couldn't get his name right last week.
Jesse. Is that right?
If you ask Jimmy, I'm Jason.
Jimmy Williams, I'm calling him Jason.
Oh, so it's Jason or
Jesse.
Jesse or Jamie.
Or just Jamie.
Or take your pick. Yeah. Right? Okay.
He interests all of them.
It's my sitcom, Just Jamie.
Just Jamie.
Ray Rogers, here to take your calls at 866-55-PRESS. Cyprian Bolding here to keep us looking good on the video screen. Talk at Free Speech TV. Yes, indeed. President Obama yesterday saw him last night at the White House Christmas party. So say every year they invite reporters cover the White House to a Christmas party. It's a very festive affair, and y'all get a chance to say hello to the president, get a quick photo taken with him. I want you to know, on your behalf, I did say something, told him something. I think you only get a few seconds before you have to mug for the camera and then get out of there. They herd you out of there pretty fast. But I hope I spoke for all of you when I said, Mr. President, good job in Paris. He said, thank you. And I said, and I want to say this, that would never have happened without you. And the president said, you're right about that.
Good for him.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I think
it's true.
So I had a chance to say that. The president earlier in the day went over to the National Archives, and he was there as there were about 3 dozen new people sworn in as American citizens, and the president went there. He hasn't done that before, but he wanted to make a statement that in light of all this ugly stuff we're hearing from Donald Trump and from the other Republican candidates about keeping people out, keeping Syrian refugees out, not letting any Muslims into this country, the president really wanted to make the statement overall that's not who we are. Greeting these refugees yesterday, welcoming them to the United States.
We can never say it often or loudly enough. Immigrants and refugees revitalize and renew America.
He said, I welcome you as American citizens, and the president going on to say, of course, that that welcoming them is what America is all about from the very beginning.
The tension throughout our history between welcoming or rejecting the stranger, it's about more than just immigration. It's about the meaning of America. What kind of country do we want to be?
Very powerful statement there yesterday by the president at the National Archives. Then the big debate, that's what we'll talk about. Justin Sink from Bloomberg will be along at the half hour. Meanwhile, it's you and me and your calls at 866-55-PRESS about last night's debate. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. We go to Northeast Ohio, where just outside of Cleveland, a man walked into a Walmart store outside of Cleveland and said, I want to take a look at your layaway list. You know, what people have on layaway. They had about $70,000 worth of goods and services on the layaway list, and he said, I'd like to pay all of it off. All right? So he did that, and then he moved to Lorain, Ohio, and did the same thing with about $36,000 worth of equipment and goods that were on the layaway list. So he wanted to buy Christmas for a couple people there at Walmart and made sure everything was paid off, nothing else on layaway at those 2 stores. All told, he spent $106,000.
So all those people who had stuff on layaway just were able to pick it up and somebody else paid for it,
That's
right?
it. Yeah, somebody else paid for it. Some mystery donor. We don't know who he is.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, right. It's the end of the year, so Google has released its hottest searches of 2015. What was the most searched thing of 2015? Any guesses?
Bernie.
Bernie is not on the list.
Huh.
Yeah, Bernie's a good guess.
That's a good guess. Number 1 on the list is Lamar Odom.
What?
Lamar Odom. Yeah, remember Lamar Odom was a former basketball player who had a 4-day binge in Nevada of doing drugs and sleeping with hookers. He was in a coma for quite some time. They thought he wasn't going to make it, but he pulled out of it. That was the most searched for item or event of 2015.
On Google.
On Google. Just behind that.
Weird. Isn't that weird?
It's weird,
Well,
right? They point out that tragedy sort of breeds this type of stuff. Robin Williams' suicide last year was number 1, so people want to just find out more about it. Following the Lamar Odom story were the attacks in France at Charlie Hebdo magazine.
Yeah.
The Jurassic World movie and American Sniper movie were both on the list. People were looking for more information on that. Also, Ronda Rousey, the MMA fighter, was on the list as well.
So Star Wars didn't make it, but Jurassic
Star
World
Wars
did?
didn't make it, but Jurassic World did. I guess part of this had to do with sort of staying power throughout the year,
Yeah,
right?
and so Star Wars.
Like
Right.
Jurassic
This week
Wor-
is probably all Star
This week,
Wars.
I bet nobody's searching for anything more than Star Wars. I think you're right about that. And Showtime made a big announcement. They are going to be producing a new political show. It's called The Circus, Inside the Greatest Political Show on Earth. It's going to be a documentary-style show that features political analysts John Heilemann and Mark Halperin, along with Mark McKinnon, It's going to be a weekly 30-minute show that offers a behind-the-scenes look at the 2016 presidential election. They say it's going to be up to the minute. Everything that happened week to week, so whatever happened between shows, will be featured in that week. So it's very, very, very current, they say. We will see how it goes.
Halpern and Heilemann already have 2 other shows, right? Or one other show.
One other show that's
repeated on
simulcast.
MSNBC.
3 shows, 2 networks. Must be nice.
Ugh. It's a bad.
Make it while you can.
Yeah, I guess. Who would have thought that would have been the breakout star of this?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're looking for the breakout star last night. Not sure we found one, but I do think we narrowed the field last night for sure. Overall, it was a debate based on national security issues. And again, there were 2 debates for Lindsey Graham, Mike Huckabee, Rick Santorum, and George Pataki in the early debate, followed by the other 9 left. Jim Gilmore was not included at all. The other 9 left in the big debate last night, moderated by Wolf Blitzer with the help of Dana Bank. Did I get that name right?
Dana Bash.
Bash, not Bank. Bash. And Hugh Hewitt from Salem Radio. The conservative talk show host, conservative commentator. There was a deal made with the RNC. The CNN could have a debate as long as they had a conservative there as part of the questioners. The debate last night, Donald Trump, of course, was in center stage again. But the battle was not so much with over Donald Trump as about Donald Trump. He doesn't do well in these debates. It's not his best forum for him. But, he doesn't have to do well. He's doing well with the crowds before and after the debates. He just has to hold his own, which he did last night. The action was really not so much Donald Trump as to who would step in when Donald Trump fades, if and when Donald Trump fades. Jeb Bush took a good shot at it last night. And he was the one who most directly went after Donald Trump, coming up with I think a phrase we're going to hear a lot from now on.
Donald, is great at the one-liners, but he's a chaos candidate, and he'd be a chaos president.
A chaos candidate who would be a chaos president, and he also told Don when Trump then turned around and said, "Oh, you just say that kind of stuff because, you're a loser," Jeb Bush fires back.
Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not going to happen. And I do have the strength.
It is reported in Politico this morning.
By the way, a round of applause there from the crowd.
By the way,
really ate that up.
Yeah, crowd liked that.
Was roaring.
Which is surprising for that kind of enthusiasm for Jeb Bush. That's what he's been lacking.
I'm surprised he didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah.
He's not used to that kind of exposure.
Are you applauding for me?
Yeah. Wait, did someone else say something and I didn't hear it?
Right.
Is that...
Mike Allen reports in Politico this morning that people inside the Bush campaign are weighing the possibility for George Bush. I keep saying George. Damn it. Of course, we suffered through him for 8 years. That Jeb Bush, they're weighing the possibility that he might come out in a couple of days and say he would not support Donald Trump as a nominee of the Republican Party. Then kind of to take this fight one step further. Chris Christie made a shot at it last night. Rand Paul made a shot at it last night. But most of the attention was in the fight between, they really don't like each other, pretty apparent, between 2 freshman senators, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. Which one is going to inherit the mantle of Donald Trump again if and when he fades? They went at it, particularly on immigration. You're not going to hear anything either one of them says, but this was kind of typical when they got into it last night. And all the time you could hear Carly Fiorina shrieking in the background.
Didn't Senator trust Cruz, the federal government. No, Dana, he campaigned in Florida promising to lead the fight against amnesty. Support legalizing he campaigned promising to lead the fight against amnesty.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why Senator Cruz, can you answer that question, please?
Nobody's paying any attention to her. But Marco Rubio was saying Ted Cruz is weak on immigration. He wants to allow illegals in, and Ted Cruz fired back and said, "Wait a minute, Marco Rubio, you were the author, one of the Gang of Eight. You were one of the authors of that comprehensive immigration reform with Chuck Schumer," and he kept hammering home the Rubio-Schumer immigration plan. That was the thing. I happen to think that was a good bill, but if you're running in the Republican primary, it's not, and that's why Marco Rubio is trying to run away with it. I think Ted Cruz showed that Rubio may be smoother, but Ted Cruz is smarter and craftier, and I think came out ahead in that exchange last night. Up to you. Tell us what you think. We'll talk also about Ben Carson, Chris Christie, and some of the others on the other side here at 866-55-PRESS. You watched it. Tell us what your take on it is. Big winners, big losers, and if it has narrowed the field, who is left to be taken seriously? 866-55-PRESS. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter at BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Okay, friends and neighbors, here we go. Second week of our December pledge drive for Free Speech TV, and we really, really, really need your help. We got a lot on our plate these days. December's a very busy time. I mean, you heard the president the other night. The president says we have to do everything we can to degrade and destroy ISIS. That's one big challenge. We've got to do everything we can to make guns not so easily accessible in this country. That's another big challenge. We've got to get all of our holiday shopping done. Oh, my God. And we've got to save Free Speech TV. That's another big challenge for December. That's why we're turning to you. And let's just get that one out of the way right now. Make your pledge today and do your bit to keep Free Speech TV going. We've got a great, great partnership. I tell you that all the time. I love being part of it. We, Stephanie and Tom and I and Amy Goodman, everybody else, we bring you all the best programming, the best guests, the best commentary that we can every single day. And you help us stay on the air by making your pledges whenever we turn to you as generously as you can and keep that. So let's keep that great partnership going. The only full-time progressive television channel in the nation today, the only free, independent, freewheeling, totally uncensored programming coming to you every day. We know you appreciate that, but we couldn't do it without you. No corporate money, no government money. You are the blood and soul of Free Speech TV. So we ask you again to dig in as generously as you can. Every single pledge, no matter how large, no matter how small, is deeply appreciated by all of us. I'll give you some idea of what you might think about for $30. Pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, that pledge, $5 a month, a Free Speech TV calendar with pictures of all your favorite hosts on it. For $120 pledge, $10 a month, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, $20 a month, a great little package supporting the Women's Bean Project, which includes a contribution to them, plus a can of soup, a bundle of cornbread for you, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. $30 a month pledge, $360, a beautiful hand-woven, one-of-a-kind Carol Press scarf for this winter. And for $1,000, if you can afford that, get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll bring you in the next morning to meet the whole show here. We'll even get some donuts in from District Donuts and have a big party. Make your pledge today. Please go to 877-378-8669 or just go online to freespeech.org. Free Speech TV, great partnership. Let's keep it going. Make your pledge today, and thank you.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
This is the Bill Press Show.
24 minutes after the hour, Justin Sink from Bloomberg, Bloomberg.com, joining us at the half hour. Last night's debate prompted a lot of comment online. Of course, I saw this morning on CNN that the most Googled or Facebook, I forget which one, the one that got the most attention last night, the line that got the most attention was Jeb Bush, chaos candidate.
That makes sense.
People picked up on that. I'll tell you, if Jeb Bush had a good night, if Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz both had good nights, Ben Carson, not so much. This was national security. He knew that coming in. He had allegedly spent a lot of time studying the issues so he could be ready to show that he'd understood these foreign policy issues. But he's kind of fell apart when Hugh Hewitt asked him whether or not, as commander-in-chief, he would have the intestinal fortitude, if you will, to go to war, understanding that there'd be a lot of civilian casualties.
Could you order airstrikes that would kill innocent children by not the scores, but the hundreds and the thousands? Could you wage war as a commander-in-chief?
Well, interestingly enough, you should see the eyes of some of those children when I say to them, we're going to have to open your head up and take out this tumor. They're not happy about it, believe me. And they don't like me very much at that point. But later on, they love me. Sometimes I sound like him. Later.
Yeah, I sound like
the
Trump.
Greatest.
Huh? Yeah, why? I mean, seriously.
Open up their heads?
One time I went to Botswana and I made a brain out of sticks. Channeling the Kid Mero, who it sounded like Mero was on stage last night. Holy cow, that was funny.
Totally. That was a Saturday Night Live moment, right?
Hands down.
Right. So Hugh Hewitt got a little trouble with the audience when he appropriately tried to follow up and maybe get him to talk about war and not about brain surgery.
You are okay with the deaths of thousands of innocent children and civilians. It's like...
You got it. You got it.
You got it. Yeah, you got it. Not comfortable.
This shows what a lack of understanding that they have, because it was, we're going to bomb ISIS. Well, no, you're going to have to bomb cities if you're going to bomb ISIS.
Yeah,
no, I'm not going to bomb cities. I'm going to bomb ISIS. Well, you understand that ISIS is within cities, which has women and children. But we're not bombing cities. We're bombing ISIS. You don't understand. You don't get the point. If it was as easy as bombing ISIS, it would have been done already.
Right. The guy that I'm really glad was on stage last night, he is not going to be the nominee of the Republican Party. But I thought Rand Paul was at his best last night. First of all, he got maybe number 3 in terms of the time that he got to speak. He took good advantage of it too. And Rand Paul made the son of Ron made the argument over and over again. Look, all you guys up here are talking about bombing and overturning another dictator and regime change. He said, we really got to stop and think about how well regime change has worked. He said, look at Libya. We did that. It's a breeding ground now for ISIS. Look at Egypt. Muslim Brotherhood has taken over. Look at Iraq. We're still at war in Iraq, 13 years later or whatever it is. And he said, now we want to go in and try regime change again in Syria? You're just going to create more chaos. He also had a great moment when he turned to Chris Christie and he made the comment after Chris Christie says he would bomb the hell out of Russian planes and who cares. And Rand Paul said, if you want to start World War III, here's your candidate to do so. Bingo. Justin Sink joining us next.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Neighbors, a little word about Free Speech TV. You know, it's that time of year. Our December pledge drive, very, very important before the end of the year. Your last chance to get a tax deduction for making a charitable contribution to our nonprofit Free Speech TV, and hope you take advantage of that. Come on, how much do you love us? Show me today. Let's make that $1,500 goal that we've got today. At least 15 of you with a pledge of $100 will put us over the top. And you know, I got to tell you, we've been doing this now a couple of years now. It's the same with every pledge drive. I always start out really nice, you know, we love you, you love us, show us how much you love us, give us a contribution, help keep Free Speech TV on the air. And you know what? It never works. Same thing, we're off to a slow start again. It seems like the only way that we can get you guys to respond is we get a little testy here. I mean, come on, people, damn it. Show us how much you love us. Look, remember, Free Speech TV is built on this whole principle. It's something never seen before in the American media, okay? I mean, people who founded Free Speech TV figured, okay, if it's really true that you don't like the corporate media, and none of us do, all right, then we'll do something different, right? We won't take any government money, won't take any corporate money, won't take any Koch brothers money. And if you really like that, you will respond by digging in and keeping free speech on the air. So this is something, again, totally new, totally independent, and that's why we can be as progressive as we are 24/7, all of us on Free Speech TV. So you either like that plan, you like that principle, you like that approach, or you don't. And if you do, again, please show it by digging in and making a big a pledge as you can to keep free speech going, keep it on the air. It is so important. We depend entirely on you, and we'll help you with a little prompt maybe to make that pledge today. If you can help us with just $30 a year, we'll give you send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. For $60 a year, this is $5 a month. A Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all your favorite hosts on it. $120 pledge, $10 a month. A Bill Press Show, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, something very special, a little bundle put together by the Women's Bean Project, including a contribution to the Bean Project, can of soup, and a little bundle of cornbread, and 2 of those Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $360, a great, great gift for yourself or someone you love, a hand-woven scarf by my wife, Carol Press. And again, for $1,000, the big prize, you get yourself to Washington. You and a guest, Carol and I will take you out to dinner at our treat, and we'll bring you in the studio to meet the whole team the next morning. Please help as much as you can. We really, really need it. And do it today. Take advantage of this end-of-the-year opportunity to get your taxes down a little bit by helping Free Speech TV. You know how to do it. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org. Make your pledge today as generously as you can, and thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
On this Wednesday, December 16, at 33 minutes after the hour, it is the Bill Press Show, and we welcome you to it. On the radio, your local progressive talk radio station, on television, on Free Speech TV. We are live in Washington, D.C., as always, on our studio on Capitol Hill, and brought to you today by AFSCME. Under President Lee Saunders, the men and women of AFSCME, the largest public employee and healthcare workers union in the entire country, making America happen. Check out their good work at AFSCME, AFSCME.org. And we salute the members of AFSCME. Thank them for the support of the program. Yes, I mentioned a couple of times it was a big White House Christmas party last night, holiday party, I guess I should say, for members of the White House press corps. And some people got there early and left early because they had to watch the entire debate. I got there early and stayed late because I didn't give a damn about the Republican debate. But Justin Sink, man, he is dedicated and devoted. As a member of Bloomberg News, he had to run off right to the bureau. Hello, Justin.
Hey, your strategy sounds much better than mine.
Yeah, but at least you got to get a little party time.
Yeah, a little bit. I wish I could have enjoyed the eggnog a little more. But yeah.
But I mentioned this earlier. They didn't believe me. The eggnog is the hit of the evening.
Oh, I think it's some evil recipe from like Abraham Lincoln or something because it will knock you down.
Really?
This is my favorite trick is to bring a family member, one of my parents, have them have a glass of the eggnog, and then see how quickly they get incoherent, especially around all my coworkers. That's what pushes it over that's my family tradition at this point is just getting my parents drunk.
That's what the holidays are all about.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I don't want to.
I gotta try this eggnog, by the way. This sounds so good.
I'd like to get the recipe for it. Right? Yeah. They do it in little cups.
I think the recipe is rum and then a splash of eggnog. that seems like what it is.
A splash of eggnog and just a little bit of nutmeg on top.
Yes.
Yeah. But I would not do this to one of my colleagues and one of my friends. I would not name any names, but I was standing with Helene Cooper from the New York Times.
Oh, my God.
And she had never had it before, and she took one cup and then she downed that cup so fast, and then she grabbed for another one. She had 4 in a row.
Ooh.
Now, I didn't see her later in the evening, probably because she was upstairs taking a nap. I don't know.
Right.
That's how you end up with the incident with the Secret Service. Is not realizing the kick until it's too late.
Watch, I'm going to jump over the fence and get out of the White House.
All right. So as good a party as it was, I'm sure you had a much better time watching the debate last night.
Well,
what was your takeaway?
It was certainly entertaining. I think we saw some of the most, for the first couple debates, the candidates seemed to get mad at the moderators every time they were trying to encourage them to pick fights or differentiate with one another. Tonight, it was, one of the last best chances for these Republican candidates before Iowa and New Hampshire really get going. And we saw some sharp contrasts. I'm not sure anybody really came out ahead and definitively
won. They were more than willing
won.
to take each other on last night.
Yeah. We saw really a lot of kind of back and forth between Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, who are the two kind of, surging candidates right now. Jeb Bush, looking for momentum, went after Donald Trump pretty hard, and so it was interesting to see all those battles. But it wasn't clear to me that they had really redefined the race. And the reason I say that is, we knew Jeb was struggling, and we know Trump's the front runner, and so did everybody watching, and so did Donald Trump. He kind of said it out loud every time Jeb went after him. He said, "You don't believe any of this stuff. You're just coming after me because." You need to make a splash. And that is actually the same thing that Marco Rubio did a couple debates ago to Bush. And it's really sort of devastating to any attack, no matter how substantive it is. For Rubio and for Cruz, they both kind of landed some good punches with one another, but I think they have to be encouraged the fact that at least half the debate just seemed to be the two of them going back and forth, and maybe some of the other candidates responding.
Well, that seems to be the play right now. That's the game. In other words, all right, there's Trump. He's the front runner. Who, if Trump ever falls,
right?
Who is going to inherit that? Who's going to step up and be the new front runner? Everybody thought it was going to be Ben Carson for a while. Ben Carson's toast.
No, yeah,
right? He's done. Right. So it's either going at this point. It's either going to be. It looks like it's either going to be Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. They know that, and they knew that coming into the debate last night. And they each wanted to come out as the winner, right, of that putative number 2 slot. Which one won?
It's tough to say. I think what was interesting was there
was no clear winner.
There was no clear winner for Rubio. I think the big question is the the sort of stumbling block for Rubio with the Republican electorate is always going to be his immigration vote, and that's what he got really beat up on last night by a number of candidates. My question is whether that's already baked in. I mean, I don't know how many people are politically active Republican voters who don't know that Rubio was part of the Gang of Eight.
Yeah.
If there are a big number of those, last night hurt him. If there are a small number of people who didn't know about the immigration issue, then Rubio got a lot of face time, landed a lot of punches of his own. And I think what we're going to start seeing is even if Trump doesn't necessarily fade, some of these other candidates, Chris Christie, Jeb Bush, who are kind of drawing sizable chunks but not enough to sort of be in the top tier, once they start dropping out after Iowa and New Hampshire, we'll probably see those voters go towards Rubio. The hope for Cruz is that he can get Ben Carson voters, that he can get Donald Trump voters if Trump falters in some way. And so then it just becomes a question of, are there more establishment Republicans or are there more sort of Tea Party Republicans that want to vote for a Ted Cruz type as their nominee?
If there was a surprise last night, Jamie, it was from Donald Trump toward the end of the debate where Hugh Hewitt dropped the other shoe or asked Donald Trump to drop the other shoe. And are you or are you not going to run as an independent?
You ready to reassure Republicans tonight that you will run as a Republican and abide by the decision of the Republicans?
I really am. I'll be honest. I really am. I mean, people have been putting me to tracks. I really am.
Sounds happy with that. So he flirted with it obviously for a while. I think the reason that he would not run as an independent, I've been saying this, is because he'd have to spend his own money, which he does not want to do. But he basically, who knows what his pledge is worth, but he basically slammed the door to running as a third party, as an independent.
Yeah, I think the catch is that he had done this before. And the other thing is, I think that he will always caveat it with, unless I am
not treated fairly.
Exactly, exactly. And so, I mean, I do think that there is some legitimacy to the idea that, none of the party establishment in D.C. wants Donald Trump to become the nominee, and they are going to start working in every way that they can to prevent that from happening, especially if he starts winning some of these early primary states. And so, if he feels that he's being treated unfairly, and there's evidence to suggest that he is, it does kind of bring into question the sort of legitimacy of this primary process. And I wouldn't close the door on this just because I think if Donald Trump feels slighted, he's willing to go scorched earth. That said, it would be disastrous for Republicans. And so this is a real thing that the RNC has to sort of balance out. And we saw this in the last couple of weeks with Reince Priebus going and meeting with him, meeting with Ben Carson to try to calm the waters.
Is there, what is it, do you know the date of the Republican primary? The caucuses in Iowa?
I think it's January 20th, something like that, maybe even earlier than that. I have failed you guys in not knowing that off the top of my head.
I've failed you, and then having to ask you, I should know it. But what the reason I ask is I was just wondering whether there's another debate before the caucuses. I don't know that there is. There's another Democratic debate, by the way, this Saturday night. That's going to be a big audience.
Oh, yeah. They're really trying to, bring everybody in the Saturday night before Christmas.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Boy, they're going to have more than Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and Martin O'Malley to get a big audience for that.
I wonder.
I love them all, but Saturday night before Christmas?
Well, I think the debate schedule was clearly designed to help Hillary have an easy path to the nomination.
Totally.
I wonder if that actually does help her in terms of being prepared for what will be undoubtedly a bruising campaign.
Wow. I don't think it does. Do you find it there, Peter?
Yeah, it's Monday, February 1st is the Iowa caucus.
February 1st, yeah. And
it looks like, I'm just looking to see, there is another Republican debate, January 14th. It's a Fox Business debate in North Charleston.
I just got back from North Charleston. Beautiful.
Charleston's my hometown. I love Charleston.
It was a lot of fun.
I keep trying to bully Bill into figuring out a way to get down there for the Democratic debate January 17th.
You should do it. The food.
Oh,
amazing.
No. I love Charleston. I've been there many times.
I will say the sister city of Savannah, you can drink in the streets. That's just something to think about. That
is an improvement. Yes.
Yeah. But both are beautiful.
New Orleans?
Yeah. It's a little bit like New Orleans.
Is it really? I didn't know that. No.
It doesn't have the same sort of party
fun, but they got the loose.
But every time I've been to Charleston, I see that sign to Savannah, and I've always wanted to go to Savannah. And every time I'm tempted, and then I think, no, I'm just having too much fun at Charleston.
They're both wonderful cities.
Right. Well, we got off on a little tangent.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know how we got off.
But yeah, so Monday, the 1st of February is the Iowa caucus, and there is one more debate, January 14th.
Wonder if any of the candidates will drop out between now and then. In fact, let's talk about that when we come back, Justin, because it seems to me that whether they drop out or not, that last night did narrow the field.
Sure.
And who's still standing is the question. You want to jump in, 866-55-PRESS to find a room for you, a seat for you here at the table with Justin Singh from Bloomberg Business, Bloomberg.com. Hey, friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say. You've heard me say it before. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show with Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
12 minutes before the top of the hour, President Obama, a busy week, and it's going to end with a bang because he heads off Friday night, at least that's the plan, for Hawaii. First Lady told me last night, she said, well, you're going to California. She said, that's almost as nice as Hawaii, but not quite. Not quite. I think it's as good as Hawaii, but at any rate. So he'll be there for a couple of weeks. Justin Sink, you've traveled all over the world with the president. Will you be going to Hawaii?
I am not going to Hawaii. My colleague Margaret Taleb has swooped in to take that arduous post, but it's okay. I see enough of this guy. I'll take a couple of weeks with my family. I think it's a sacrifice I'm willing to take.
Well, if you went to Hawaii with him, you would not see much of him.
That's true. You would see a lot of the inside of a pool van sitting outside of a golf course that had beautiful.
I hear it's a great way to see Hawaii from the inside of the back of a van.
Yeah,
right. He does have a couple of things. At least one big thing that he's going to have to do before he leaves, which is deal with this omnibus bill, an agreement reached among the 4 congressional leaders at 2 a.m. this morning.
We just really didn't want to sleep last night.
I know. You had both the debate and the omnibus to deal with, right? So is there enough of the bad stuff out of this that this is a bill the president can sign? What's your read?
My read is that he probably will sign this, and there were some big wins for the president in terms of the fiduciary kind of tweaks for the White House was worried about. This is a provision that Republicans wanted to kind of stick back in that would prevent the administration from issuing regulations that financial advisors have to act in the best interest of their clients, which seems obvious and yet doesn't quite exist. There is funding for 9/11 responders. There's no repeal of Obamacare. There's none of these sort of big.
The Planned Parenthood stuff is out. The Syrian refugee stuff is out. So the one thing it looks like they may have to swallow a bitter pill for the White House is the lifting the ban on
oil exports, crude oil exports. Yeah.
Which Josh has talked about, as you know, the last couple of days in the briefing, saying they oppose it, don't think it's a good idea, but he didn't say it's a deal breaker.
Yeah. And I think what will make Democrats happy is that they've extracted a few things back in exchange. Credits for clean energy kind of research and development, and also the ability to pay into the Green Climate Fund, which is the money that the U.S. has pledged as part of this Paris Agreement. There's a lot of
to developing nations.
Exactly, and there was a lot of questions about whether they'd be able to get that money through the Republican Congress. So that's a big international win and helps kind of put the final seal on that climate deal, which obviously the president thinks is one of his major accomplishments of his second term.
All right, so let's come back then to the debate last night. Not everybody on that stage last night. Let's discount the JV debate, right? The 4 of them.
Sure.
Even of the 9, not all of them are today taken as seriously as they were before last night. Who do you think's really left among, if you had to say, serious contenders?
I think you can't rule out Donald Trump because he is the front runner. I think Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are the 2 candidates that if you put a gun to anybody's head, that you kind of see standing at the end. I think you cannot discount Jeb Bush totally because both of his name and his sort of immense war chest, the fact that he's probably spending the most to kind of lay the groundwork for his campaign. We agree on
the first 4. Is there a 5th?
I would not completely rule out Chris Christie yet. I think he had a strong debate night last night, and that his strategy is to play for New Hampshire. He's been spending a lot of time there, and if he ends up with a win in New Hampshire, that's going to kind of inject a new life into the campaign, and that he can't entirely be ruled out yet.
Would you stop there?
I would probably stop there.
Good man.
That's that list that Bill put out earlier.
That's how I started the show almost 3 hours ago. Right, that would be my list as well. Yeah, I think Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, John Kasich, Rand Paul. I hate to say, but because I like a lot of stuff that Rand Paul says, just not there. And who else?
I mean, I thought Rand had a strong debate night. There was a question. There was a question if he could even make this debate.
Right.
Like, he was very close to falling off, and I think the problem is he just hasn't been able to capture the same energy that his dad did when he ran. And so I think at a certain point he's going to kind of pivot back into running for Senate.
I wish more Republicans and Democrats would listen to what Rand Paul has to say about regime change. Justin, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming in today.
You too. Thanks so much for having me.
Enjoy that time with your family, and I'll be back to wrap things up with a quick word on the debate.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey friends, a little time out here to talk about Free Speech TV. You know what they say, you've heard me say it before, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and there's no such thing as Free Speech TV either. Well, yes, there is. I mean, it is free to you, and what a deal. What a great deal every day, 24/7. The best progressive programming you can find anywhere, with starting out with our show and Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman and all the rest, Amy Goodman. And all of that coming out to you with the only progressive TV channel in this country that you can depend on day in and day out to bring you the news of the day and the progressive slant on the news of the day and give you a chance to express your opinions. Yes, all of that is free to you, but of course, you know, it costs to get that out, to get us out to you, for us to join you every day, and that's where we depend on your help. And again, ask for your help at this time of the year. I told you before, and it's true, we just could not do it without you. Free Speech TV gets no government money, no corporate money, no Koch brothers money. We don't charge guests to be on the show. We don't charge anybody to be on the show. We just depend entirely on you. You are part of the team, and the important part of the team that keep us together every single day. So once again, at this time of the year, whether it's your Merry Christmas gift or your Happy Hanukkah gift, or just, make a tax-free contribution at the end of the year to lower your taxes kind of gift, whatever your motive, we hope it's just because you love all of us and you love this programming, and when you want to help it keep going. As a little incentive for you to dig in and help us with this December pledge drive, we want to suggest that for $30, you will get a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and pen set. We'll send out to you. For $60, Free Speech TV calendar, pictures of all of your favorite hosts. For $120, 4 Bill Press Show pint glasses. For $240, a special charity to the Women's Bean Project, and you will get that calendar, a soup and a cornbread bundle, and 2 Bill Press Show pint glasses, a nice little package. Plus, part of that $240 will also go to Feeding America Project, the Women's Bean Project. For $360, a beautiful hand-woven Carol Press scarf. You know, I wear one, and so does President Clinton, by the way. And for $1,000, you get yourself to Washington. Carol and I will have a good time. We'll take you out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants on the Hill, and you can come in the next morning here and meet all of our team. So please, help us as much as you can. Try to make $1,500 every day here on the Bill Press Show. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 and make your pledge, or just go online to freespeech.org, and let's keep this great partnership going. Thank you.
The Parting Shot with Bill Press. This is the Bill Press Show.
Yeah, just a couple of parting thoughts here on last night's debate. The main event really was that ugly war of words between Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio on immigration, regime change, and everything else. They know that, of course, one of them is likely to end up the GOP favorite if and when Donald Trump finally fades. They're battling for that crown. Both are good debaters. Rubio's smoother, but Cruz is smarter, and I thought he won the night. As for the others, forget about Ben Carson. He's toast. Chris Christie had by far his best night. Jeb Bush didn't say much, but held his own. Rand Paul, I thought, made the most sense. And Donald Trump, well, he's Donald Trump. He went in the front runner, and he came out the front runner. But again, the big takeaway, that Republican field's a lot smaller than it looks. Have a great Wednesday. Come back tomorrow.
This is the Bill Press Show.